What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Where the Locals Skate. I'm your host once again, OG Skate Show. This is a podcast where we get to know local skaters on and off the board. And of course, here with me always, the Couch Boys.
Yo, what up, everybody?
Victor Castillo and David Peralta.
What's up?
And now let's introduce our guests today. We have Nate Alton in the house.
What up, everybody?
Did I say your name right?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, cool. Because I didn't even ask. Usually I ask.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you for coming down, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm super stoked to be here.
All right, let everybody know what city you're repping.
Pomona, P-Town, baby.
Okay, shout out.
But by way of Oakland and Berkeley, California, up north. So I'm a transplant over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were born up there?
Yeah, I was actually born in Burbank.
Okay.
And I moved up north to like Sacramento area when I was like 3. And then ended up over in the Oakland, Berkeley suburbs for a while, and then in the city for a long time. And
okay.
Yeah, so then I moved here in like 2015. So
all right. When did you pick up the skateboard?
I picked up the skateboard when I was about 8 years old. So crazy enough, I'm going to be skating for 30 years this year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a
and
trip to even
and
say.
no breaks.
No, I never took a break outside of maybe a few injuries that took me
Okay.
out for like a decent amount of time. But yeah, never took a break. Been steady doing it. Kind of just fell in love and never stopped.
That's rad. That's what I like to hear, man. And are you goofy or regular?
Regular footed.
Regular footed. Yeah. Shout out.
I wanted to ask who got you into skateboarding when you were 8 years old.
So I actually, my cousins who live out in like Simi Valley area, they all surf and skate and BMX and motocross and do all that stuff. So I came down for like a 4th of July party with my mom. It was like, they had this huge block party, watch the fireworks and all that. And they had these like ramps set up, like there's like this crazy like
a kicker,
plywood, but like a BMX jump, whatever. But they had like some boxes and rails and
with
stuff.
Concave or flat?
Yeah, like there was like it was like the straight like the
okay.
kicker, like a BMX jump to like a bank,
Uh-huh.
And like his friends were gnarly, dude. They were like on their BMX bikes, they were doing like backflips and like all sorts of stuff. He was real good. He used to get flow from like S&M bikes back in the day. Brian Shepard, shout out to my cousin.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Was this the late 80s or like
this
early
was
90s?
this was like early 90s.
Early 90s?
Yeah, early
Okay.
90s. So yeah, they had this big block party and they had all this stuff, and he had his friends. They were out there skating, biking, whatever. And I knew they surfed, and I don't know what it was, but it was like the same weekend I like heard punk rock for the first time and skateboarding, and it all just clicked for me. And I went home and I just needed to get that skateboard right, So I was just
went
bugging
hand
my
in
mom,
hand.
and I just like whatever. And I think I like got her to take me to the store, and she bought me like a Green Day tape, and so I was like doing that. And my cousin sent me this like, I think I still have it somewhere. Literally like a cassette tape, that was like all these different punk bands. It was like Bad Religion and the Misfits and Agent Orange.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just like Fugazi, like a bunch of like sick stuff that I still listen to today, right?
I remember going to buy like my first cassette, like thinking I was like, oh, I like rap music now. Like as soon as I heard rap, and I was like, I went and got MC Hammer, and then I was kind of kooky a little bit, in the beginning.
Well, you don't know. When
you
you're
can't
a little
touch
kid,
it. Yeah, and then you get introduced to other people. Like someone's like, no, let me show you something. And you get the Too Short, you get the other stuff. You're like, whoa! When you're hearing stuff like for me at that age, I'd never heard words like that before.
Yeah, no, same. But I was just drawn to it, right? So then I was like, I want to like get a mohawk and dye my hair, and like I want to have a skateboard and like whatever, and like all that stuff. But yeah, it was my cousin. And he didn't really necessarily get me into it. That was just like what sparked me. And then I feel like it was about a year, I got like it was like a Nash board.
Okay.
Like those like
Old school shape?
No, it wasn't old school. It was a new school shape, but it had like plastic trucks and the wheels barely rolled. But I lived on this hill, so I would just try to like ride it down the hill, like butt boarding even and all that kind of stuff. And then I think it was for like my 9th birthday, or maybe it was Christmas, I forget, one or the other. I'm an October birthday, so they're kind of close together. But my mom went to the actual skate shop and she bought me, it was an Alien Workshop Scott Conklin board with venture trucks and blank wheels.
Okay.
And
were you up north at this time? Or?
Yeah, I was up in Northern California.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she bought me that board, and like that was it, dude. It was like I was every weekend I was like skating to school, like all that, So and I was just hooked, And I had that board till as like you're a little kid, and my family didn't have a lot of money, so like that board was like, I think I still even have that board. I like re-gripped it like 4 times. It had like blue grip tape on it at the end. I remember that. But it was like the stubs, like, you know, literally like a couple of inches, you know, no nose, no tail.
But you were still rocking it.
I was still rocking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
dude, that
was how I got into it. And then like right around the same time, I met this kid who I still talk to sometimes. We live in different areas now, obviously, because I moved here. And he, but this kid, Bobak, and he was like my best friend all through high school and even after for years. And the reason I met him was because he was wearing a NoFX t-shirt at school, and this was in like 4th grade, you know. And I'm like, like I'd known this kid and seen him around, but he pulls up to school wearing like a NoFX shirt. And his older brother skated and listened to punk music and stuff. So I hadn't really seen skate videos or anything like that. And but I was like, oh, what's up? You listen to NoFX? Me too. Like, yeah, what's up? And then he's like, oh, you skate or whatever. And like we end up hanging out that weekend, and I go to his house, and his older brothers are like way older. They're already in high school, and we were, you know. So I watched like I remember I think the first like real skate video I watched was Trilogy, and then I want to say like Mouse. And like, you know, one of the Zero videos, I want to say maybe it was like Thrill of It All, you know. You're just soaking it up. And I was blown away because I'd kind of only seen like little bits and pieces of like actual skating, but I became obsessed with Guy Mariano after watching Mouse. Like, just, I don't know, something about his style and the way he
was young. He was little, right?
He was younger. It was like
relatable for you, maybe.
Yeah, he was like pretty grown man status in that video, you know, but just like there was just something about, you know. And then this was obviously before the internet, so it was like, you know, I would only be able to watch videos, and I think they had a copy of Video Days too, so I did see that eventually, the blind video where he's like a little kid, like
that's
one pop out in curves and stuff, just insane, you know. But yeah, so for like years I only rode girl Guy Mariano boards, which was so funny because I was like a punk rock kid, but I was obsessed with the way he skates.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have that much footage in that video, which is crazy.
At this point, were you already like doing tricks, or you were barely learning?
I was starting to. Yeah, we like there were some older kids in our town, and they kind of took us under their wing. Later in life, one of them gave me my first job at a skate shop. Shout out Andy. Andy Shot. I still can never say your last name, but Andy Shot. We'll leave it at that. But him and this other dude, Justin, they like, you know, they used to pick us up, and they would be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to this spot like a couple of towns over. You guys got to come. And then, you know, we jump in the car with them, and this is before cell phones, so our parents would just like drop us off in downtown and be like, all right, we'll pick you up at 8. They don't know where we're going, you know, or whatever, what we're doing. We have our lunch money, whatever. So that lunch money turns into gas money for the homie's car, and then we're like eating like, you know, whatever, chips and whatever. But maybe so they would take us to like spots, and they would teach us tricks and stuff. But they would do this thing all the time where we'd like pull up to like a stair set, it'd be like a 7 stair, and they'd be like, if you don't ollie it, you're not getting a ride home. They were like kind of mean to us sometimes, you know. So which back then there was a lot more like hazing and skating.
There was, of course. But, you know. I do too.
During that phase of you being into Guy Mariano, were you ever trying to learn like all the tricks he would do because you were like so into him? Or it was just
a little bit, yeah, for sure. That was like definitely, but I realized pretty quickly in my skating that like I'm not like a technical skater. You know? I mean, you know, I can do some tech tricks here and there, but I realized pretty quickly like manuals are really hard.
Right.
And I'm not like
were you able to? Did you have a driveway or anything to skate?
I did have it like on the side of my house. There was like a 10 foot wide by 20 foot long
like flat ground
area, and I would set up like firewood, and like that was like I was really worried about like I think it was because it was just so competitive with your friends back then. So like who could ollie the highest, so I'd be like setting up, I was like I'm gonna get whatever, because that way, and then when we pull up to the spot and everyone's stacking up their boards, who can ollie over the most boards,
right?
And be like working on how high I could ollie, and I
got my do you remember how many boards you got up to?
Well, in my prime, I feel like I could probably do 6 or something like that. I know I ollied up a 5 stair before, like way long ago. I think recently I was trying to ollie 4 boards at the skate park when we were doing a skate clinic or whatever for one of my jobs, and it took me a while. Yeah, I was like 3 was easy, and then 4 was like kind of a mind fuck. Am I allowed to cuss on here?
We're at 10 minutes yet? Almost. We usually wait after 10 minutes, but I didn't give you the,
So are you a more street skater or transition skater?
I like to skate everything.
I like to skate everything.
I mean, at this point, curbs are like my favorite. Like a double-sided curb is just like the best, funnest thing, right? But I think just now it's more because of the time thing, you know, like I work and I'm a parent, so like I don't always have like a whole day to go out street skating, right? So I just skate a lot of skate parks. So you end up skating like everything, you know? Yeah. And I also think growing up in Northern California, like there's kind of that like cardiel, you skate everything vibe versus like picking like one thing, you know? Like I said, I'm definitely not like a tech skater, but like I can skate ledges, I can skate, you know, quarter pipes, like big and small, you know, whatever.
Were you guys building your own like quarter pipes and stuff like that, or fun boxes?
Yeah, we did when we were kids and stuff, and I always like enjoyed that stuff. So that kind of, I still to this day like build a lot of ramps and build DIY spots.
I love DIY.
Yeah. That's
because
a big passion of mine, you know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love all the skate parks and stuff like that, and they're nice and perfect. But I do love the fact that when I was growing up, that's what we had to do because we didn't have the skate park.
Yeah.
So,
that's part of it.
You know, we'd go out. Next thing you know, someone's coming down the street with a piece of plywood, and we're like, we're gonna figure something out with this thing.
When I was growing up, there wasn't skate parks. Like we had the Benicia skate park, which was like about an hour away, you know. Mm-hmm. And I had a friend whose mom was a teacher in Benicia, so during the summer she would go to like work on her like lesson plans and switching up her classroom and stuff, and she would drop us off at the skate park, and it was like there's a Taco Bell in the parking lot, like, or connected to the parking lot and the skate park, so we would like, you know, have Taco Bell money, and she'd just drop us off there for like 6 hours. So that was like the first skate park experience, and we would see that park in videos back then because there wasn't that many skate parks, you know. So I actually like had long before I knew any of them, but I saw like a bunch of the anti-hero dudes skating there one time when we were kids, you know, and they brought this like barrier they were putting over, because it was just like one of those old like mound skate parks, like it's not like a skate park we think of today,
right.
It's like 4 or 5 like mounds of their like hips, like bumps and stuff like that, you know, or whatever. So they set up this barrier over the corner, and just seeing like Julian Stranger and Cardiel and like some of those dudes skate there like in person, you know. Wow. And Wade Spire was kind of like around, and Dandra Hobel a lot. Like we'd see a lot of those dudes, thinking Deluxe dudes back again, like before I like ever worked for them or knew any of those dudes, you know.
How old were you at this time?
Were you
in high school?
I think I were in middle school.
Middle school?
Around then, yeah.
That's when I think, like, that's when I took it serious. Like when I started really trying is like middle school.
Yeah.
You're starting to find out here, like what's going on, you know. Okay, I got to rock these shoes now. I got to dress like this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, middle school was definitely when things started to. I feel like that's when you're a kid and you're trying to figure it out, but then you actually start figuring out, your body's like growing into itself.
Yeah.
You become more physically capable to actually do all the tricks and do kick flips and heel flips and all those things, right? You know, and you could like grind rails, and you know, you're when you're little, it's like the board's hard to control, you know. Yeah. So it's you start to really figure it out around that age. For sure.
I remember it blows my mind when I go, wow, I can't figure out how to make it look like I don't know how to ollie anymore, because you know how to ollie. Yeah. But then I go switch dance. I go, well, yeah, that's how it's not that easy.
Ooh, switch skating, that's hard.
Yeah. So I used to do some switch skating, and I was trying to get out. When I came back to skating, I'm like, I'm gonna learn both again at the same time.
Yeah.
But the switch kind of like the ollies and stuff kind of faded out. But I still like the nose and the board slides.
Yeah. No, I got some switch moves, but you know, not too many. I can't flip my board switch, but like all the shove-its and 180s and stuff, I can do most of those pretty good. But yeah,
it used to be weird for me when I was younger. I used to only be able to like I heel flip regular, but then I would be able to switch kick flip. But you know, it was weird. I was like, what? But I don't know why. It's just a different, like I could control that ankle a little better, I guess.
One of my teen camper kids was asking about like switch skating and stuff, and we were talking the other day, and this was like maybe a couple months ago, but I was telling him that I've done a switch flip one time, and it was like the luckiest thing of my life, and it was on carpet. Okay. On standing still on somebody else's board.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like trying them over and over again, and I did one, and I was like, oh my god, like whatever. And I thought I was gonna have them, and then it's like,
isn't that funny?
25 years later, still never done one again.
That is funny. That's happened to me before, like doing a fakie inward, or not inward heel, fakie frontside heel, you know, and man, dude, I was like, oh, is that how it's done? Like I landed it clean. Psh, man, it wasn't that easy to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to pop them like so it go between my legs, you know, like, and that's kind of it's scary, man.
Muska style.
You kind of like a Muska flip, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, flat ground skating's hard, man.
And then I had to do it. I had to do it off a curb, otherwise I didn't have the timing to get to land that trick.
I was just talking to someone about that. They're all like, it's crazy. Like flat ground skating's so hard the older you get, but you can still, if you take it off a bump, it's easy.
Yeah, I love a good bump.
Yeah, bump or like a little Euro gap.
Yeah.
They can still scare me. Like the Brea one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's tiny. I the way people jump up there, my skills must not be up to par because I struggled the last time when Jeremy Ray was there and he was filming everybody. And then I had to literally like tweak it to make so I wouldn't catch the back trucks. And Jeremy Ray was like, "Oh wow, you tweaked that one." I was like, "That wasn't on purpose."
I'm trying to get up there.
Yeah, and I didn't want to mess up the edit because they do like a whole run where everybody's doing a trick up it.
Yeah, I skated there a couple of weeks ago. It was the second time I skated that new park, and I was just trying to kickflip up the Euro gap, and it took me a lot more tries than I wanted to. But then I got like a really good one. My homie filmed it for me, and I was.
Some people say it's not it's not that smooth like where you're supposed to jump. Yeah. But like I mean, there's other people that don't have a problem. Let me tell you.
I just feel like it's not like a big gap or anything, but that bump is really big, so you kind of got to go faster than you think you want to. And then sometimes, like if you're not used to skating fast, that can make you feel a little uncomfortable,
out of control.
Yeah, like, you got to pump over that pyramid first, which helps you keep your speed, but at the same time, it when you're cooking, it can be a little tricky.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, that park's fun. That new park's good.
That's pretty.
I want to
cool.
go back there again soon. It's like just far enough away from where I'm at that it's a little bit of a mission, but but it's those long summer days are here now. We're starting to get here, so
night skating's gonna come back.
Yeah. Oh. Which they don't have lights there, huh?
I don't think so. No,
I wish they
didn't put them in.
That should just be like mandatory at every skate park.
It should because
it's so hot here.
That and like you would think like, well, there's no lights on now. People are gonna go there and kick it, party, or maybe tag it up. Who knows? Because there's not gonna be anything. You can't see anybody down there.
Yeah.
So if it was all lit up, then you'd be like, oh, look at that guy over there. Let's go see what he's up to. Because there's a police station, I think, like right there too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to, it's funny though too. I was thinking about it last time I was there. I kind of miss the old Brea Park, and people probably hate on me for saying
no.
that.
There's a lot of locals that don't like the new one.
I mean, the new one's good. It's just like a new, like we were saying, it's like the DIY spot. Like like I would prefer. I mean, this is just like me being kind of like selfish maybe or whatever. Like I would prefer to skate stuff that I made with my friends over anything, right?
True.
But like I'd prefer to skate at a DIY spot over like a perfect skate park any day for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to like you go to a perfect skate park and it's like it's challenging and maybe there's like harder obstacles, but in general it's like it's perfect. Like but you go to a DIY spot and you like don't know where all the cracks are and the little holes in the ground and like the lumpy transition and like all that stuff that you got to get used to, right? And it's not easy just to pull. Like if you ever been to somewhere like Burnside, like that place is impossible to skate unless you spend like 2 whole days there, or like FDR in Philadelphia, right? Like that place is so fun, but you literally have to spend days there to like figure out how to skate it. Every single transition is different. Like there's lumps, there's holes, there's cracks, there's all these things that you got to watch out for. It's covered in an inch of paint from them graffiti and painting over it, and graffiti and painting over it and painting it for events, and it's like slippery in some spots and grippy in some, like all those factors, right? But then once you know it and you spend some time there, it's like the funnest place ever. That's the challenge for me.
And like the locals are watching the new people come in and like, look at, he don't know the corner right there. Like, he's going way too quick. Whoop!
Yeah.
Yep, there he goes.
That's how I felt at Washington Street in Pedro when I first went there. I'm like, damn.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, the transition's crazy. You gotta watch out for this corner, that corner.
Yeah.
Don't hit that too tight. Don't hit it too wide.
Yeah. Right. I know it's a learning experience, and if you're someone like, like me, I feel like I have like the tricks that I can do, right? And so I'm not learning too much new stuff at my age, right? I'm just like keeping what I can do.
Yeah, trying to
hold on
some tricks.
Hold on to some stuff. So if it's something's challenging to do a front Smith on a quarter pipe, right? And it's a challenge versus going to the perfect skate park where I'm just going to do it every try. That's more fun for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather like, stumble and fall a little bit and make it a challenge than just cruise right on through,
Yeah, man. Yeah. And when did you come down to when did you move down here?
I moved here, I want to say it was in 2015.
2015?
So, yeah, so I guess, we're getting close to a decade here.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
What made you come down here?
My kid's mom is from here, and we were living it was right before my daughter was born. She had just got pregnant with my daughter, and we were living in the fucking hood in West Oakland. And it was during the whole like property boom, and I had lived in this house with like some other skaters. Shout out to the beach crew.
The beach crew.
Yeah, that was our old skate crew. Got La Playa right there.
Oh yeah, I see that.
That was our old like one of our old Oakland skate crews, and but I was living in a house with some of those dudes, and it was like me and my kid's mom, we were engaged, and we were about to have kids, and we were living in this shitty neighborhood, and it was great when I was like paying cheap rent and just skating with my friends, and then she moved in with me and all that happened, and it was too expensive to live like not in the hood, so we were kind of stressing out. She had just graduated school, and she was trying to find work, and it was just easier to move here. My family at the time wasn't set up there to like help us with kids and things, and her family is like her parents were getting close to retirement and had a lot more free time, so it all just worked out, and luckily at the time I was still working for Deluxe, and they were like, I was spending so much time in LA because say about 90% of like professional and amateur skateboarders live in Southern California. So I just kind of pitched them the idea like, hey, could I keep my job but move to LA? And they were like, fuck yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because
like you'll be close, and I was literally
and you'll be a contact for them over here.
Yeah, and at the time I was traveling, like a week or two out of the month elsewhere, but then also spending all these weekends in LA to come down here for events and video premieres, and so it cut down on my travel time, like where I used to have to take 3 or 4 days to come to LA for like a one night or one day event. I could just like leave my pad in the morning and just go, and then come home at night and like
you're like 3 or 4 days. You're like I'd rather do the 3-4
hours. Like in traffic or whatever. That was an adjustment for sure.
The traffic, over here
it's still a buck.
Yeah.
So you say you work for Deluxe. What were you doing for Deluxe?
Or how did you get on Deluxe as well?
Well, so like I said, my homie Andy got me that job at a skate shop. It's called 510 Skate Shop.
Okay.
It's in Berkeley. They've been there for, I want to say they just had their 25th anniversary. So he was the manager there when I was still in high school, and then when I graduated, he was like, hey, we're hiring someone, you should come, whatever. And and I skated for a different shop at the time. And so it was kind of a funny thing. Like I was skating for the shop, but I wanted to work at the like super cool skate shop in the city proper, And so I remember I went and I met the owners, and they were like, yeah, we'll give you a job. So I had to go like quit skating for the shop that I skated for like all through high school.
Okay.
And then go work there. But it was cool. So then, so Andy was the manager, and then he left, and then I ended up taking over as the manager and doing all the buying. And when I did that, I started like, doing all these events, and we had DIY spots going, and I was helping build there. We were doing like benefit events, and we were doing like cleanups and graffiti cleanups and trash cleanups, and I was doing video premieres. I was like when they still had like actual like DVD videos coming out.
Right.
And so we were doing video premieres with brands, and I was doing all these events, and I worked there for like 8.5 years, and it was such a great stepping stone too. But Deluxe is a Bay Area based company, and Jim Thiebaud, the owner, love you, Jim. He's still one of my super good friends to this day. I talk to him like all the time. Amazing human being. But so he actually came to me. This is a pretty funny story. He goes, hey, we're hiring. He comes into the shop one day. He's like, we're hiring a dude for the marketing department, and I was just wondering if you know anybody who would want to do it. And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know, like such a fucking dumbass, like, yeah, I don't know. I'll hit you up if I think of anybody. He was like asking me, but like without asking me.
Yeah.
And then like he leaves, like he like whatever it is, he like bought some grip tape or something, a magazine or whatever, and he leaves. And I call him like 10 minutes later. I'm like, yo, I want that job, dude. Like, I want that job. And he's like, yeah, dude, that's like what I was saying or whatever. So, it was a big transition for the shop because I'd been there for a long time and I was doing a lot. But they knew that I needed to like move on and grow. Right. So it was cool. But it took about, I think it was like 6 weeks. Like he wanted me to start, so I started 2 weeks later working for Deluxe. But then I was working Saturday and Sunday at the shop to keep things moving and like training this kid. I think David has been managing that place ever since I left, or like working. He's been working there for sure.
The first skate shop.
The skate shop at 510. Yeah.
Oh, 510.
So I think this kid David that worked there, he was like a younger kid, ended up becoming the manager, and I think he's still doing it for him if I remember correctly.
Okay.
He's a rad kid. But yeah, so then that's how I ended up working at Deluxe. He just kind of came to me and was like, hey. Like you're doing all this stuff, and I can't appreciate what you're doing.
He's like, I can't literally tell you, come work for me.
Yeah.
He's like, do you know anybody?
But it was kind of crazy because like both those jobs, like no real interview, no resume, no nothing, just hey, you're gonna do this.
You're gonna
and
start.
Like, okay, cool. So, and then so for about a year I worked there just in the marketing department, and then Darren Howard was the team manager for Real. And me and him were friends. Like that was the thing is I would go to Deluxe instead of doing orders like on the whatever website, or I guess it was before I think there was even a website. It was like an Excel spreadsheet. I would just go to the warehouse in the morning before we opened the shop and just pull orders.
And you
like literally. So I knew like everybody there. So I knew Mickey, I knew Darren, I knew John Alden. These are like all like team managers and people who work there. Like I knew Julian and Tommy and Jim. Obviously, like I would hang out with him on the weekends and stuff too. We go to shows, and he's a old school East Bay punk rocker too. So like when I started there, it was just like super natural, you know. So cool. But yeah, Darren Howard was the team manager for Real before me, and he left. And I remember thinking like, damn, that's crazy. Darren left, like, you know, like whatever. And like the very same day that he like bounced, they pulled me into the office and they were like, hey, like, would you want to do that? And then I started doing Real and Thunder team management for like the next day. Basically it was like a little transition period of kind of still doing my old marketing department tasks or whatever. But funny thing is when I started there, it was like right when Instagram was starting. I remember that was when I got my first iPhone. They like got me a phone, right?
Wow.
You know, I believe it was an iPhone 1, like the first one, you know, right?
It's crazy.
And I started all those Instagram accounts. That was like my whole thing, was like starting Facebook profiles and Instagram accounts, because social media was like
just
like
starting.
Instagram literally just started.
Yeah.
So that was like my whole thing, was to get.
That's crazy,
you know,
to have the like we need to get these names now.
Yeah.
Before somebody else
gets it. And we actually had to go through some stuff like that, like dealing with Instagram for getting the proper names, because people had already taken some of them, but because they're like trademark names or whatever, we were able to. But it was like, yeah, definitely took some time.
That's
and
crazy.
This dude Fred, he used to work at Soltech. He kind of became a social media consultant for skateboard brands for a while, and he helped me out with some of that stuff, because I was like reading books like on how to do social media marketing and stuff, because I had no idea. I was like, they gave me the opportunity to get this job, so I'm just gonna like go for it or whatever, you know. But yeah, that's how
you learn though. You gotta just jump in it.
Yeah. That goes through like quite a bit of work history, just like the leading up to how you get there. But yeah.
And then being the team manager, what does that consist of? Like, what do you have to do? Do the writers call it like need product and you got to fill it?
Yeah, like that's a huge part of it, you know. Working for like larger skateboard brands like that, like especially for like the like Spitfire and Thunder, you know, the teams are huge, right? And they're global. And even for the board brands, they're like global. So product, you know, is definitely a huge thing, whether it's like organizing it through a distributor for the kid who lives in Norway, or you know, just sending out boxes and packing boxes.
You physically had to
pack boxes too, you know. And so that was a huge part of it. But also, like, if you're working for board brands, you're doing like filming trips, so you organize like all the filming trips. You're booking all the travel, you're going to contests, like events, like all those things.
Do you have to call them and tell them that you're coming, stuff like that, or are you kind of already like that's kind of already set up?
Yeah, I mean, all of it, dude. Like, and even like, you know, they all have shoe sponsors and clothing sponsors and other brands they're doing trips for, right? They might have an energy drink sponsor, right? So then when you're like, hey, like, we want to take a shot on this 2-week tour, then you have to hit up like Monster and Nike and all these brands and like the team manager for them and say, hey, like, do you guys have any scheduling conflicts, or like, is he free?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot to it on like that end of just like the travel planning. And then like when you do tours, right? Like some of them are just straight filming trips. So you're like, everybody really wants to go to Denver for a week and film because there's all these spots there that people want to get for these video projects we're working on. So you do those, but then sometimes you're doing a tour for like whatever it is, if it's for a video release or for like whatever thing, you know, promotional campaign stuff. So then you're working with the sales team to do demos and events with shops. So you're like, all right, so we have like, 2 days here, 1 day is an event and the other day is filming. You got to figure out like spot tour guides. You got to pack all the product for the van. Like, if it's a driving trip, if you're, rent a rental van. And then how do you feel
if you have a skater comes along and then he's like, I don't feel like skating today. You're like, well, no, hold up, homie.
You got to give people breaks, man.
Well, I get it. If they're like,
I've watched dudes try tricks for like 6 hours straight, like where you're pulling out the generator and lights, Yeah. And then they still don't get it.
I love the dedication, though.
Yeah. People are super, and that's how it should be. Like, and people go through stuff in their personal life too, right? Like I've had dudes come on trips that like, not gonna name any names, but they were just like having a bad week, or they like, who knows, like their mom just died, or like their girlfriend broke up with them, or whatever it is. Right. And they would come on a trip and just like party the whole time, and that's cool too. Like whatever, like we're all like, we're such a family,
Right.
And we travel together all over the place, and so you got to understand that they're human beings just like you, and like, everyone's going through stuff. So like, sometimes people don't skate the best, or sometimes, and you can't be harsh on people for like,
of course, you don't want them getting hurt. Cause
again, not going to name any names, but there's been team managers in skateboarding who are known for like, we're going to skate till 2:00 in the morning, no matter what you guys want. I'm going to keep taking you to spots and you're going to perform and you're going to do this. And if you don't get clips, you're not going to get, we're going to eat McDonald's instead of going to Red Lobster or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? So like, that was never my way of doing it. That's not how I would want to be treated.
Exactly.
So like, and that wouldn't motivate me to skate better, so,
right.
But and then the other cool thing about like the team manager job is you're kind of like the in-between for a team rider and say the art department or production. And so I get to work on like new board shapes, or like dudes would have ideas for like, what if we did this little tweak to the trucks, or like, could we make a bushing that's like this, or skaters just think about that stuff all the time. So you're kind of like in between, or like, hey, I want this graphic. And then, so, you're like working with the artist. So you really get to work with like every department within the company,
wow.
Which was like a super cool thing. And I, experienced a lot, and doing collabs with other brands, too. Like we did some pretty cool, tours and trips and events and stuff with different brands that it was cool to like work on just different stuff and just get to know everybody. And
what was one of your favorite collabs you got to work with?
Trying to think. Let's see here. I mean, everything that we ever did with Huff was super cool. Be totally honest, like those dudes are rad over there. Obviously Keith Huffenagel, miss him a lot, but and he taught me a lot just in the industry, and like how to act and how to be. And he wasn't skating, really almost at all by the time I was on the team, but I still got to work on some cool stuff. But there's also this other dude, Keith Sweets, who I believe is still over there. Tyler Sitchie is the team manager over there at Huff. And those dudes were always really cool to work on projects with, We did some cool events and some cool projects with them. Trying to think of who else. My favorite thing is always working with the skaters, to be totally honest. Like the brand collab stuff, like we did some stuff with Vans, we did, just all sorts of different things throughout the years. But just getting to know the skaters, was always cool. And some of them were people that I grew up, like for instance, like later on in life, I said guy I was obsessed with when I was a kid. Yeah. He became a good friend of mine.
Shout out.
And I would call him to talk about like his new pro truck coming out or whatever, or like his ad or whatever, and we just end up talking for like 2 hours.
That's so
because he's just like a cool ass dude, And then still to this day, even though I'm not working there, it's like I still, I skated with him a couple months ago. I talked to him. I just went to his Dickies thing.
Yeah, Dickies.
He had that big Dickies release thing, and I went out there and
checked
it out. And I wasn't even gonna go because I haven't been going to that many skate events. But
it wasn't that recent, was it? Was it recent?
Like a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. Because I went to another one.
It was like I think at Costa, and a bunch of photographers had like some had photos up, and they had like whatever Liquid Death and a bunch of beers and stuff like that, and they had a cake for him because it was like the day before his birthday. It was like a cool. Oh, they had pizza, yeah, it was like a cool little just like party, like release party thing for him. But yeah, that was always my favorite thing about the job was just literally getting to, or like Lance Mountain or like any of the skaters that I got to work with. You know, it's like so many, right?
Yeah.
And I still get to, you know, and now working at Pawnshop and we're still working and doing collab stuff with like all the brands, you know. It's cool because I kind of know everybody already and I get to still work with a lot of those same people, you know. Like we did a big Baker collab, you know, sometime in the last 6 or 8 months, and you know, like Andrew and all those dudes came out and they crushed this demo. And
yeah, I
built
there.
a little mini Wilshire thing.
Oh,
I built that thing.
I remember that.
And like all those dudes were super hyped on it. It was just cool. Like, you know, like whatever. But yeah, it's
that's
cool
the day that Andrew signed that board right there.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, right here behind you on the left. Yeah.
Oh.
And I didn't bring the board, or Baca was there too, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't bring the board, but I took a picture with Alyssa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it's probably like one of my favorite photos ever.
I got a photo. Beagle.
Yeah, I got a photo with Baca that night. My friend Jake Running, who shoots photos for Pawnshop, I was like, hey Jake, I need a photo with Sammy, like, dude, because I've known him for a while and he's just a cool ass dude. You know, he showed us around Las Vegas a bunch of times when we do trips out there.
Yeah.
And he'd have his like.
Is that where he lives?
Yeah, he's out in Vegas.
Man,
he's got little homies, like little kids, you know. So
yeah.
I always like that, like I guess you kind of have like a parent connection, right? Like, cause I had kids and I'd be traveling, and so we'd go meet up with folks and be on the road, and then they'd have their kids around, and it was just like a reminder of like what's waiting for me back home, because you see them with their kids and stuff, you know. But yeah, Sammy's a good dude.
That's
like,
cool.
He looks all crazy with the tattoos and shit, you know, or whatever. But he's like a real good heart.
He's got style, man. The kids dress like him too. I love it, man.
He'd pull up in the safari van or whatever, and he's got it all kitted out with his kids in the back.
Got the beanie and everything.
Dude,
I love that. I love the fact that, you know, like you said, I don't know if we touched on it already, but like how every skater, you can dress however the hell you want. You can be whoever you want. As long as you're on that board, everybody, and we're all friends and family out there, you know?
Yeah.
And that's rad, you know? And nobody's telling this guy, like, oh, you can't be dressing like that if you're going to be on our team or whatnot, you know? Because those are the real dudes, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
no, that's like the beautiful thing about skateboarding, and I think we talked about it like a little before we.
I'm sure it has happened though, like, because I've heard stories too where like somebody couldn't, like, they go, well, we don't want you wearing that kind. We want you to dress like a certain way.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. I'm not gonna name any.
You know,
but there's some like there's definitely some of that happening. But in general, just like skateboarding, it's like such a beautiful thing because like you have all types, all colors, all styles, and everybody's homies, and everybody hangs out together, and it's like
that's the best.
You know, I think it really shapes how us as skaters like look at the rest of the world and interact with the world. You know.
Did you watch the Olympics? How like everybody, like all the other, you know, we embrace each other, not like how the other teams that, you know, they don't hug the other countries.
It's cultural
like that. It's pretty
too,
cool.
you know. But yeah, I think skateboarding here is definitely like very accepting of all types, and I think that's another thing. It's really shaped how I walk around the world, and I think it really shapes how a lot of us do, you know.
I think skateboarding teaches you just basically like, if you're cool and you skate, you're gonna fit in. But if you're like a kook, we're just gonna be like,
kooks are always
they kind of weed themselves out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
no, they do for sure.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have to really do much with that. They just end up kind of like fizzling off to the side a little bit. You know,
it's like well, as a skater, you don't care what color, race, or anything you are. It's just like, what, you skate? What's up, dude? Let's meet up here tomorrow and we'll catch a skate session. Next thing you know, you're chopping it up.
Then you're going to play pool and going to get dinner, like whatever, going to the movies.
Now you just now it's like your new best friend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like two dudes that didn't skate it in any other way they would in their life they would have never met.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing. It's like I think that's another thing that's, like I said, always drawn me to skating and like kept me here. And I've, you know, been lucky to travel and see and meet like all these different kinds of people, and I don't know.
I was gonna bring that up. Where are some of the favorite places you got to travel?
Barcelona, Spain, just Australia in general. I've been there a couple times.
Australia?
It's pretty insane. I think my hands down favorite place out of all is the UK, like London and just the United Kingdom.
Okay.
I want to say 3 different tours out there, and kind of got to see most of it, and it's just, you know, whatever. I even spent a whole extra week out there in London just with my kid's mom at one point, and that's an amazing
awesome
experience.
To be able to have that little perk, you know, and be like, and your lady gets to see that side too, you know.
Yeah, that was a cool one. As far as like inside the U.S., like New York City is just such a like skate mecca, you know.
I've never been.
Yeah, you got to get there. Like, you don't need a car. You take the subway. You skate around. There's spots everywhere. Just the vibes, like you get a $3 slice of pizza that's bigger than your face. You know what I mean? Like you could like live for. It's expensive there, but you can live for cheap if you want to. Like the dumpling spots are off the chain. You know, you get like a dozen dumplings for $5. Or
how's the rat situation out there?
I mean, it's pretty dirty, dude. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it's like. But skating, you know,
skating.
You go out there for a week, and like,
if you're already sweaty, like
you're
I feel like you'd be cool. Like you're gonna walk around all sweaty after a skate session. You're like, dude, I fit right in, man.
Yeah. I always had a lot of love for Chicago. That's a really fun skate city. It's hot. Now it's super hot in the summer. It's like humid.
Who has better pizza, Chicago or New York?
It's two different animals.
Okay.
Yeah. New York style pizza and.
I like that.
But
answer.
if you do make it to Chicago, hit up. I believe it's called P-Quids or P-Quads. That's like the OG deep dish. The guys from Uprise put me onto that. Uprise Skate Shop, and
I love when the locals tell you.
It's like a little like dive bar, like with like the old school booths or whatever. It's just like it's not the prettiest looking place inside or out, but the pizza is fire.
Sometimes those are the best spots, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. Chicago's great. I always, Austin, Texas has always like been a really cool city. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been to almost every single state in the United States. I'm missing like 3 or 4 or something like that. So
that's cool.
But yeah, those are all pretty rad places. I got a lot of love for Phoenix, Arizona. The Cowtown crew. They put on that Phoenix Am contest every year. I don't know. I just like I like traveling, but
is that different than the Cowtown one?
No, that's Cowtown.
That's a Cowtown one?
Cowtown, Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Trent and Laura.
Yeah.
Love those two.
I got to go to one of those a few years ago, and it was pretty fun, man. It's just hot.
It's hot.
It's just hot out there.
It's not even the hot time of the year yet. It's like it's in March. It's like in the spring, and it's already pushing 100 every day.
I remember.
Yeah. I've sweated out there quite a few years.
I was dehydrated the last time we went. Because it was just too hot, and I was like, no matter how much water I was drinking, I was like, I feel like I'm hydrating.
Yeah. The sun burns different there in places like that. It's like, it's
kind of like the closer you get to the equator, right? It gets hotter, right?
It's hotter,
right?
But yeah, where it gets really bad, like I was saying, Chicago is like super hot, but it's humid, and that I'd say like Atlanta. Like
I've been
Atlanta's
to Florida.
A great city. Florida's the same way.
Florida,
Tampa,
it'd be
Miami.
like blue sky, clouds and stuff, and all of a sudden it just start raining.
Yeah,
you're like, wait, what? And then the rain will just go away like 10 minutes, and it's just muggy.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, I think what people don't realize, like I was saying, it burns your skin different. Like the way the sun hits your skin when it's humid outside, and people who've like never left like LA, like the dry heat or whatever, you don't understand it yet. Like the humidity is nuts.
Yeah.
Like it feels like I don't even know how to describe it.
Like
just
sucks
go
some
somewhere
moisture.
where it's humid and just like
I felt something like that down in Mexico because I was down by like Guadalajara.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember it just got so muggy that I was just like, dude, I just want to rip out my skin and or just jump into an ice cold pool.
It's hot. You can't stop sweating.
Yeah,
you're just like
Texas,
it's like no matter what you do, you can't get away from it.
Texas,
we just felt that in Vegas like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a Vegas weather, man.
Vegas is dry. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's.
You cut like I remember showing up to Vegas
back there.
I remember showing up at night. Showing up at night was awesome, and then didn't even realize how hot it was until we opened the doors of the hotel.
Yeah.
Boom! You're like, oh no! Let's go back inside.
Yeah. Luckily, they got like heavy AC in those casinos and all that stuff or whatever. But
I love it.
Vegas is a place that I like going there for like a day for like a show or something like that. But I don't really.
Yeah,
I might be going
my
to
Vegas
that
days were more like clubbing, and it was just like those times.
We used to go there on skate trips, like because it was like kind of a you could get out of there for pretty cheap and spend a week there, and there's a lot of spots there, well, you'd skate all day and then go to the casino and like gamble and then wake up all hungover and.
Yeah, we were just there like I think like 3 weeks ago we went out that way, and then the pharmacy dude hooked us up with a bunch of spots. So we were just like, the spots are sick, but the weather's fucked.
Yeah.
We were out filming at a ditch, and I'm feeling the camera. The camera's heating up. My Apple Watch starts telling me I can't function no more. I'm overheated.
Dude, what's crazy too is like if you go there and like you know, in November, December, January, it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
Like it's like 40 degrees, 30 degrees outside, like at night.
And then you got those gnarly winds too, right?
Yeah, it gets super windy. What do they have out in Arizona? They have, it's like a crazy dust storm. It's called a haboob. It's happened in the winter. It's like they're like dust rainstorm things. I don't really know that. I've never even seen one, but they have those in Vegas too. Like not necessarily in like the city, but they have them in Nevada, in that area out in the desert or whatever. But yeah,
I even hate when like you know you're going down the freeway and you just go through sand or something like, and you could just see your windshield just getting pitted as you're driving through it.
Dude, I've been on some crazy drives like where you're like in the middle of nowhere, like you know wherever, like in the middle of our country. You know? And like just insane winds, and you're like on this highway in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing but just like dry dead grass, but there's like sand like blowing across, like literally like you can't. It's like sandstorms. You can't see, you know, and all of a sudden you're going like 30 miles an hour on this freeway, and like the speed limit's like 80, and people are driving like, flying by you. Yeah, driving the van with like a 15 passenger van, fully loaded with everybody's stuff. The roof rack loaded up or whatever. And that stuff's sketchy, man.
Heck
yeah. But we always made it. We always made it. So.
Shout out to that.
Would any of the skaters be all like sketched out or anything about with like stuff like that, or just like freak out?
No, like I mean, everyone's pretty mellow. I think everyone's always pretty used to it. Maybe some of the younger kids on like their first like couple trips might, you know, be a little like, oh, what's going on or whatever. But everyone gets pretty used to it. You know?
Yeah.
You start to learn like you like live in that van.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own seat.
People have like their seat preferences, and you have little crews on the benches, like the stoners are all the way in the back, just like rolling joints up the whole time, just you know, like or whatever. And then, you know, I always had like certain people that I would want to sit shotgun.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Because I was like, they're like good DJ and
exactly.
Or like you know, I traveled a lot with Gabe Morford, who's been like the staff photographer for Deluxe since like the beginning or whatever, you know, and that dude is just so knowledgeable about everything. He's like the guy who invented like bondoing cracks, like because that's for like auto body repair, and like they would put like tape over it before that, and he was like, hey, you could just use like this stuff or whatever, like all these like there's a lot of like little things that like he's like credited for, like, but he's just so like sick. He's almost like
and he's just
like MacGyver or something, you know, like
he's a filmer. Just
like little tricks.
That's cool.
He's at a time he was like there's stuff that he has filmed with a VX in one hand and shot a sequence of in the other hand, like at the same time. Like
that's
I can't
crazy.
think of like the specific examples, but I've literally
got some skills.
Like, dude, the guy's like he's a trooper, but he's straight up like MacGyver. Like he could fix anything with like nothing. He'll be like, I need a. It's like that scene in Half Baked where they're trying to make the bomb. Like, I need an avocado,
a snorkel,
and like blah blah blah,
an ice
duct tape or whatever.
Yeah,
like, you know, like that's his
ice pick and a snorkel.
Oh yeah, I learned a lot. But I would always, I mean, when he was on trips, he was just like guaranteed shotgun because he's like the OG. And if you ever need someone to drive, like that dude could drive all night.
He was
trustable. I mean, when you're like, dude, I'm burnt. Like I just drove like 9 hours straight, and we're trying to get from Denver to Kansas City or whatever it is, and he would be like, should we stop and get a hotel? And he'd be like, no, I got you. Like, dude, he just
were you traveling before all this GPSs too, or did
no? I think I think we had, you know, like I mean, GPS has come a long way.
Like a TomTom. I remember I used to use one of those.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember when I first started, I think because I told you I'd gotten like my first iPhone or whatever, and they had like the maps on there, and they weren't as good as they are now, but they worked, you know.
They worked.
But we did have a map book, and I remember one time trying to take it out of the van, like, oh, we don't need this anymore, and Gabe's like, what are you gonna do when you don't have service? And I was like, good one more. You know? And I don't think it ever like came up, you know, because most of the time when you don't have service, you're just on that one road that just goes straight.
I'm telling you,
you never know. You never know.
I don't know what these electric cars think they're gonna do, man. I don't trust them.
Yeah, I don't trust them either.
Just like you said, what happens when you run out of like cell service? Your whole car's gonna shut down.
And then batteries and all that stuff. No,
dies, and you're like,
now
they're gonna have to set.
I mean, I drove a Tesla one time, and it was actually pretty sick.
I mean, they're fast.
The go-kart pedal thing, I think somebody told me you can turn that off, but like how when you let go, it like, but yeah, that.
Oh, because it like stops,
it starts stopping you or whatever. But those things are fast, man.
Yeah. Some of them had like different, you know, like you could put it on like
a sport mode and stuff.
Sport mode, like ludicrous speed and all that crazy stuff. Because
the one I drove was my friend's, and it didn't have it. It was just like one of the regular ones or whatever.
Yeah.
It was actually Jimmy Wilkins.
Oh,
Yeah, it was his
Jimmy
Tesla.
Wilkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was the last person that I put on reel before I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's still talk to him sometimes. He's a good dude.
Shout out to him, man.
Yeah. Nicest dude ever. The way he skates versus he's like the quietest, nicest, calmest dude, you know. And then he gets on a board and he's like, whoosh, just like 20
flies,
just
bro.
flying, dude.
I mean,
Nobody
nobody
skates like him. Yeah.
Is he the one that did the he doesn't use hands? He just like tray flip.
I don't. He doesn't really skate the mega ramp. He just skates. He's like a very classical vert skater. But he does do all those crazy super high ollie oop ollies where he's just floating forever.
Right. Yeah.
And all the crazy sugar cane and hurricane tricks and just
Yeah, they're always talking
stuff.
Tony Hawk and Jason Ellis are always talking about.
Yeah. What did he do? I think there's one thing in his Welcome to Real edit where he does a fakey ollie back foot kickflip, fakey ollie bonk, and then he flips it with his back foot and goes back. Yeah, so it's almost like a fakey switch flip or something. It's just crazy, dude. He'll surprise you with some shit.
Yeah,
and he's got really good hand plant tricks when he chooses to do it. He's just got such good style.
That's cool. Man.
Yeah,
dude, that's so rad, man. Any spots that you haven't been to that you want to go check out still?
Spots you mean around here?
Either maybe travel.
I'd like to travel in Asia and South America more.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I never. And there's, I feel like there's not as much opportunity for as much opportunity for skaters to go there, I guess, with their brands. I guess maybe China and stuff. A lot of companies do trips over there.
Oh, really?
We never did, but I'd like to. But China's not really on my crazy. I would want to go to Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems cool, the whole vibe and the food and the culture is just really interesting to me, you know. And then just South America in general. I've never gone anywhere outside of places in Mexico, you know.
Okay.
So actually going to Brazil and Argentina and stuff like that, that always seemed like it'd be cool, you know. So someday maybe I'll get to travel down there and take my kids down there or something, you know, or out there. But yeah, that's kind of the two. There's still some places in Europe that I'd like to see that I didn't get a chance to go to yet either, you know. But but in general, I think I got my fill for especially skate spot fixes. Got to go see a lot of cool stuff, you know.
All right.
So and places I want to go back to. On any given moment, I would get on an airplane to Australia.
Australia?
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Skating's amazing. The beaches are amazing.
Which part of Australia?
I was in Sydney.
Sydney?
Both times I went, yeah.
Okay.
Staying over in Chima Ferguson's neighborhood. He's on reel, so we would do trips out there every couple of years.
I have a pair of his Vans.
Yeah, good shoe. I skated those a lot, yeah. But yeah, Sydney, and then we traveled around to some other cities around that area that are smaller or whatever too. What is it? Canberra is the capital or whatever. It's out in the middle of, in those old anti-hero videos, Tent City, where they do the crazy Australia trip. There's all those skate parks that look like they're in the middle of literally just grass fields and nowhere. That's where they're all at, is out there, and it's quite the experience. But yeah, just in general, like I said, the beaches. The culture, people are super nice and friendly, you know.
That's cool.
And I just like the vibe out there. It's super expensive though, avocado toast is $20, and I was still drinking back when I went there, and it's literally, I want to say it was this is gonna sound crazy, but I want to say it's almost the equivalent of $70 for a 24 pack of beer.
Whoa!
So it really makes
even
you
their
question.
beer, it's not like you're trying to get an import from us over there.
Yeah, it's expensive to drink
Wow.
there or whatever. So it really makes you. I've never spent so much of my own personal money on partying on a trip ever before than in Australia. But it also makes you limited a little bit. So it's
that's
good,
true.
You know?
That's true. Well, now you're you're not waking up with a beer. You're gonna have to, now that's for the celebration later when you land you guys' tricks.
Yeah. But everything else about Australia, except for how expensive food is pretty amazing.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
skating
crazy.
skating out there is so sick.
Well, yeah, Yeah, I would like to go. I would like to check it out.
Australia's one
Did
of
you
those.
get to see a kangaroo?
That's. I was gonna say square up with a kangaroo.
I'll one of you. We ate kangaroo.
Okay.
They sell like kangaroo steaks like at the store, just like a regular. They have like regular beef too, but but we also did see kangaroos like on the side of the road as we were driving. I think that capital city Canberra is like, or I might be saying it wrong, but is like about 4-hour drive from Sydney, and you're driving through like the forest, and then you're just like in the middle of nowhere, and so you could see them off in the fields or whatever. But we didn't go to any of those like wildlife retreat type things or anything. The crazy thing is like once you're out there, we stayed in this hotel out there, and we were like walking into town one night to go out and get dinner and like go get drinks and stuff, and like dude, the spiders out there.
Oh,
dude,
they're
gnarly, like these like I'm talking just like they look like tarantulas, but they're like not. They're like
are they dangerous or
some of them are, some of them aren't.
aren't.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't. Yeah, the bugs and like the spiders out there are pretty like intense, dude.
Yeah,
not so much in the city. When you're like in the city, you don't see them, but when you get out into like into the countryside, out in the sticks a little bit, yeah. I mean, I think my backyard's like bad sometimes, you know, like the weeds get a little overgrown, and then you get some like black widows and some other spiders and stuff, but that it's nothing. You know? I just have to remind myself every time. I'm like, it could be.
I walked outside and there was like a it was pretty thick web, so I don't know what the size of that spider was, but man, it was like a rope. It got stuck to my face too. I'm like, oh man, I couldn't imagine like. Nah.
Yeah, and the webs on those things too.
That's what I'm saying.
Spider this big, and the web is like floor to ceiling to like as wide as you can spread your arms, and they're just like on this bush as you're walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And somebody points it out. Hey, careful!
Watch
out!
out!
One of those things. Yeah. Whoa.
So it's gonna be like in the movies where you walk into the big web and then you're like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Here comes a spider. Dinner.
Yeah.
That's what I was picturing right now. Gremlins 2.
Yeah. That's such a good movie. I love the Gremlins movies, dude.
I just watched it on film at this place called New Beverly in West LA.
Oh yeah, they do the old movies there. Huh?
Yeah.
I haven't been, but I heard of it.
It's pretty cool, man. You should check it out. It's like, I think you go in there and pay like a regular movie, and then you sit down. I'm not gonna lie, the seats are uncomfortable because they're old school, so you're like really tight in there.
Yeah.
But it's a cool experience because they'll have sometimes the dudes who worked on the film come in. They'll tell a little bit of story or like like a backstory to it. Computer's been on. It has a sleep mode every 2 hours.
Okay, so but we're still recording, right?
Yeah.
Are the mics back on?
Yeah, we're back on.
These guys. Always something. Well, maybe you could cut around that.
What happened was that the screen turned off. But we're good. We're good.
Yeah, I can see.
We just gotta fucking.
Yeah.
You gotta wiggle it a little bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it work.
That's
Yeah, we used to go to the. We used to go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You guys ever done that one? Like the midnight showing? Everyone dresses up all crazy.
Nah,
It's like
I've always wanted to go to one.
I think they still do one in LA somewhere, or I heard from somebody that they did, but they used to do one in Oakland we would go to, you know, once in a while or whatever. It's a trip, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just people get super into it. It's like a funny movie or whatever, but yeah, they have the midnight showing, and it's like a whole deal, you know? If you haven't ever been before, you're like considered a virgin and all this stuff. It's a trip, dude. It's like some cult shit.
They're gonna carry. What is that? They carry you with the blood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually spent some time in Oakland by myself.
Really?
It was I'm not gonna lie, it was shady. I went out for a concert.
It's real sketchy now.
Yeah.
It's like worse than it's ever been, I think.
I wanted to go to that spot you were talking. You helped build Lower Bob.
Well, I didn't do Lower Bob's. That was like they started building that like right around the time that I moved.
Okay.
But we had Border Town was like that same crew. First version, and then we had another spot we called the Decoy Spot, which had like the big volcano with the rainbow rail and like a bunch of stuff. It was like a big asphalt lot. There was like a bunch of stuff up against barriers and stuff, and like we built like most of the stuff over there.
Okay.
Yeah, like so that was kind of like where I learned like the DIY building thing. But yeah, Lower Bob's, like I said, that started by the time I moved, it was literally it's hard to even explain because it's grown so much, you know, or whatever. But it was just like a pump bump and like a couple quarter pipes, you know, and then it slowly turned into like the insanity. I just saw they just did some new stuff there now, you know, and then one of the other dudes, so there's Tony and Josh, and one of the other dudes, Josh and Tony, they kind of split ways, and Josh does Skate Park TI, which is the Treasure Island Skate Park.
Okay.
Which is a DIY park that's on the island where like the Bay Bridge goes through.
Yeah.
From Oakland to San Francisco, there's like an island, and it's actually, I forget what I want to say. It's like, I want to say it's Angel Island or like Mare Island or something is the actual island, and then Treasure Island was built for the World's Fair like in the early 1900s, and then it became a military base, and now it's all like abandoned.
Yeah.
So they went out and found some like abandoned area and started building it, and that's also like a massive DIY skate park. Like it's on like some like FDR Burnside, like Washington Street, Lower Bob's status, like of just like a full on.
That's kind of crazy. You leave it up to skaters to find an abandoned spot and then turn it into something useful.
Yeah.
Because I did want to bring up the P side as well, because you help build all that stuff too.
Yeah, that's my buddy Tyler. Well, so we've had 2 spots. So the first one and the second one are both my homie Tyler found, and then there's another dude named Nate. So we all just kind of come together. You know, Caleb's in that crew. He's been on the show before. There's a whole gang of them. You know, it's kind of involved with the Urban Skate Project, that dude Clayton's deal.
Okay.
There's a whole ton of people, but yeah, it's just kind of like a community thing. You know, we all hang out there, we all skate there, we all build there. You know, if you want to make something, start forming it up, you just make it happen. You know, and everyone throws in their own money. We bring our barbecues out. I bring my kids there. We skate. We have a good time.
I see you guys put the pop-ups for shade and everything, right?
At the pop-up tents. We got our speakers out there. It was just like a good crew of dudes. We all come from different areas all over Southern California. We build, like, they're actually doing a pour at Cornside, which is that DIY, like, what area is it in? I don't know. It's like out in LA somewhere or whatever. I'm still not great with my almost 10 years down, and I'm still not great with all my geography around here outside of like the IE area.
You know how to get there though.
Yeah, I could drive there for sure. But yeah, they're doing a pour over there today.
Okay.
But yeah, so like, and we built spots like all over the place too, though. You know, so like that crew, the P-side crew, kind of like I said, we're from all over the place. We build stuff all over the place, but that's like kind of our home base. Like,
do people hit you up and say, "Hey, can you come build us something"?
It definitely has happened before.
Yeah,
it's happened before, and I build stuff for people, like, just, you know, whatever. I do store build outs. I do, like, I'm a carpenter and a concrete worker or whatever. So I do all sorts of stuff when I have time.
Right.
You know, like I say no to stuff sometimes, you know, but yeah, the P-side crew is great, and we all just kind of like I've known Tyler because he skates Diamond Bar Park. And he hit me up about this spot, but he had just met Nate and Caleb and this other dude, Nick, who, funny story, Nick and me went to high school together.
Okay.
And then he moved here way before me. And then we reconnected through P-side. But like we were like homies that skated together in high school. So
and that was up north?
Up north.
Cool. That's cool. Small
and then after I graduated high school and whatever, he was a year younger than me, so he would come out and like stay at my pad for the weekend and like skate, and it was just like a whole thing. So it was cool. Like we were really good friends, and then kind of disconnected after a while, and then we reconnected more recently in the last like year and a half with the whole P-side thing. But Tyler met other Nate and Nick and Caleb and some of those other dudes, and he was like, "Hey, I have a spot in Pomona," and we had just poured like 1 quarter pipe, and then all of a sudden with the first spot, it was literally like in 4 weeks, it was like a skate park. It was like, but like we just went in, you know, we were pouring like pallets of concrete every weekend, you know, and just going crazy. That was the first spot, and then that got torn down and they fenced it, and then we moved to the next spot.
Is that the wall with the giant wall?
The first one was with the giant wall.
The first one was the giant wall.
Yeah. And then
that came out.
So we called it, didn't it? It did. Yeah, it's been in some ads and stuff. I think it was cool. Like I want to say it was like somebody on Foundation Skateboards had to add, like, I think it was a girl that had to add trail sliding. It was like her welcome to the team ad. I forget what her name is, but she did.
So crazy.
So many skaters, it's like hard to keep track of everybody.
Yeah.
So then we moved to the other spot, and then we kind of did the same thing, like a little bit slower moving, but we built like pretty much, and then they tore it down, but they kind of left all the rubble.
Right.
And so we've been kind of slowly piecing it back together. We put like a new curb in, a new ledge. We just put a flat bar in last week.
I saw that.
Flat bar.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been been slowly, and we got some plans. Like we were just talking the other day. We're like, I mean, it's getting close to summer. It's gonna get hot. We might want to bang out a few more obstacles so we can just chill all summer and just skate, because it's gonna be like, you know, it's like Pomona. It's like 110 every day.
Yeah.
You know? So it's not fun to be doing that stuff all summer, you know. Or you just do it. Let's meet at 7 a.m. at the HD Supply and then go down there. But yeah, it's just a bunch of dudes. We all just love building shit. We all have different jobs and live in different areas, and it's just like a good crew, you know, fun times. Everybody's got their own.
It's community,
you know,
man.
It's community. Some people know a little. Some people know a lot. We're all still learning. None of us are like masters.
And then the newcomers could come and actually learn.
Yeah, we've had a lot of
skills,
kids, adults, like people of all ages come and they don't know nothing, you know. And
yeah,
then all of a sudden,
I don't know nothing. I don't know how to get that perfect transition.
They're better at finishing concrete than any of us. Like, you know, it's like, you know,
because maybe they go, well, especially when somebody cares about something, they're gonna take a little. It's not like a guy that's putting in a sidewalk that does it every day. It's just gonna, go, you know, somebody like for me, if I'm building something for myself, that thing's gonna be like,
oh yeah,
you know, clean.
Yeah, we try to keep it smooth and keep it clean. You know, like I feel like. There's a few of us who are pretty good at it, you know, and you know, we sort of know what we're doing.
Do you guys have any? Did you guys use any pool coping? Is there still some of that, or
all the coping we did at the first P side, that one long quarter pipe, that's all pour in place. So it's like mortar, and we have like a trowel that's a special coping trowel, so it kind of wraps like your hand like that, and you just.
I've seen that.
Yeah, whatever. So. We didn't really use any pool blocks. Okay. It was all like solid sections.
I don't skate that, so that's good.
Yeah, no, it's a lot more forgiving than pool blocks.
I haven't checked it out, but I want to go check it out for sure.
Yeah, come. I might even cruise over there later today. We'll see. It's like 5 minutes from my pad, so
okay.
Like,
I live fairly close too, because I just jump right there on Fullerton on the 60, straight to the 57.
Yeah. I don't even get on the freeway. I'm just like,
right there, huh?
But that's like, you know, that's why I go there so much, you know, too, outside of just being a place where like a lot of my friends go, and it's just good times, you know. So
yeah, I like how everybody wears the orange shirts and they look like they're supposed to be like they're like you guys all look like real construction.
Works, you know?
Well, you are construction work
because a lot of us build like, you know, we'll go build a random little barrier thing, you know, and that stuff works. Like you put your vest on, you put your orange shirt on, and you're out there, and like nobody bothers you. You know,
get a couple orange cones,
cutting into the ground, and you put a cone out. You could be cutting into the ground, pouring concrete.
People think you're supposed to be there.
You're supposed to be there. You know, hiding in plain sight.
That's what, like, I mean, I always said it before, like, you know, I probably spoke of it before, but I used to when I dressed like a skater, I was a tagger.
Yeah.
And the cops never fucked with me because I was on my skateboard. They weren't looking for skaters at the time, so that was like my undercover was that.
Yeah.
As soon as I see a cop that just busts a couple ollies or something, they go, he's just leave him alone. Boom. But if I was riding a bike or something and dressed different, boom, I was pulled over, searched, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy, like what you can get away with just the orange t-shirt and a vest, and you know, if you got some work boots or something, throw those things on, put your Dickies on. I mean, that's like every day for me, but you know, but yeah, I remember like I used to get like a rush out of that too. Like back, like this is way long ago, and I was still living up, and we'd have all our spots up in Oakland because we have other little side project spots too, other than the main ones. And
did you guys get all construction out?
Yeah, and we do the same thing, you know. Wow. And I mean, not like sometimes when we're just building it like the main big spot, you know, and it's already kind of gone, you don't necessarily have to do that. But like when you're trying to be like kind of incognito in the streets, you know, and you're just like doing the Jersey barrier on the sidewalk or whatever, it's definitely like, you know, like where that serves the best purpose. But yeah, I used to get like a crazy like rush out of it. Oh shit, are we gonna get busted right now? Are we gonna get in trouble? And now it's just like so normal at this point. We've been doing it for so long. It's you know,
it's like natural.
And spots come and go, and like that's another beautiful thing, like a learning experience. You know, like when the first spots I worked on would get torn out, I would be like devastated, like crying in my room, like, man, we put so much time in it, like, you know, whatever, just like an emotional wreck for a week.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, they tore down P-side, damn. That sucks.
Let's go find another spot.
Like, you know what I mean? You just become like sort of, you know, they come and they go. But they're always fun, and they always bring different people in, and you meet a lot of people. Like, I'm just, you know, skating there, you know, a few times a week. I'll go there, and there's just like random crews of kids all the way. Like one day, I show up and like Ray Barbie's there skating, and you're like, dude, what? Ray Barbie's here skating our spot, like, or whatever, and like it's just sick. Like you meet a lot of cool people, and we're not like the gatekeeper type,
Right.
over there. Like we're just like, come skate. Maybe if it's like we're getting started on it, we might be like, the donation for location kind of thing. And I mean, dude, it could be $5 and we'll give you the pin. It's not like anything, because we spend a lot of our own money and we're all like hardworking people, So,
Yeah.
but it's not anything crazy. Like if you show up there and you find it on your own, we're not going to tell you to leave.
Right.
Like might ask you to move a bag of concrete or like sweep up some rocks or something. You know what I mean? If
Hey,
we're,
buddy,
if we're
can you
building
help me
something,
out?
yeah. But like overall, it's not on like that.
Yeah.
That crazy stuff, like and I get why people do that, like whatever, but
as long as you want them to pick up after themselves.
yeah, just like don't leave your trash,
Right.
or like whatever.
Don't be
And
tagging
like we said
it
earlier,
up.
if you're being a kook, you're probably gonna get the boot.
Yeah.
So, like, that's few and
Yeah.
far between though. Most people are pretty cool,
I mean, I feel like you guys are in a solid location right there. Like, no one's really gonna mess with you guys. You guys are pretty well off
I
hidden.
mean, we keep all the trash to a minimum. We bring our own big trash bags and we haul it out. Like every time we get 3 or 4 big bags of trash, we're like, boom, get it out of there. People dump a lot of stuff there though. Like I stopped last week. Me and my buddy Jason were over there, and these fools and like these gardeners pull up and they have a whole like trailer like full of like debris and junk,
You can't use that.
And I'm
for
like
skating.
looking at him. I was trying to film this clip, and Jason was filming me, and I was like, they pull in. I was like, "What's up? How much you bet those fools are gonna like try to dump their stuff?" And he's all, "Nah, they wouldn't do that. Like right here in the daytime." I'm like, "Yeah, they would."
Yeah.
And then they turn around and they back their trailer up, and they're about to put it like there's like that kicker over the flat gap out into the parking lot.
Yeah.
And they're about to dump it all right there. And so like
You're like,
we pulled up on them and we were like, no, you can't do that. And then they started trying to be like, oh, my boss said to dump it here. And I'm like, I don't care what your boss said. Like I'm here cleaning it up all the time. Like we keep this place clean. We paint over the graffiti. We pick up all the trash. Like you can't dump that stuff here because that's just going to be me cleaning it up. And he's like, oh, well, he said we're going to come pick it up. And I was like, I don't care what your boss said. Get your boss on the phone, like whatever. Like you guys got to go. And then they finally like, we just kept having to be like, no, you're not going to, like, I literally like walked up, they were starting to undo the trailer thing. And I like pushed it up. I'm like, you're not dumping that here, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And then I took out my phone. I was like, dude, I got your license plate number. Like, I don't mean to be like the Karen, but I'm like, we keep this place clean. Like, you know what I mean?
This
You
is
know?
our
Like,
spot.
this
Go
is-
find-
they had
go
his,
find
they had
another
his
spot.
company name like on their shirts and stuff. I'm like, I'll call the company, dude. Like, it's not cool, man. Like, you can't just dump this here.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of other abandoned lots like right around the corner. Go over there. Just not here. This is a skate park. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
You gotta regulate a little bit sometimes on that
For
kind of
sure.
stuff. But like, and I know those dudes are just like, their boss probably did tell them like, go find an
Go
abandoned
find a
lot and
spot,
dump it.
yeah.
But like, not my spot, dude. Not our spot. I shouldn't say
Yeah.
my spot. It's everybody's spot. So,
Heck yeah. That's so rad. And you, how long have you been with Pawnshop?
I've been there since like December of 2022, so like about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you get off of the reel and go to Pawnshop, or?
Yeah. So I stopped working for Deluxe, and I was going through some tough times, and just whatever. Anthony and Donovan have been really good friends of mine for a long time, and I was like getting sober.
Shout out to that.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
it's
that
like,
too.
What, like 50 or what is it? Yeah, like 1 year and 5 months or something like that. So
Heck
yeah,
man.
but and those dudes are all like, in sobriety, so I kind of hit them up, and then they kind of just helped me out. And at first it wasn't just like working there for the first couple of weeks. I was just like hanging out there and like going to AA meetings and stuff like that. And then it turned into me working there, and it was just like 1 or 2 days a week to help out. And then then it turned into like, oh, we want you to do all our events and do like special projects and collab stuff. And then now we just opened the Pomona location, and so we just got another store. Me and the homie Vince are doing that. It's like pretty much just me and him working over there.
And the store's open now?
The store's open now. We're still like doing some remodel stuff and packing more product in there and bringing more stuff in, but it's been open since April 1st.
Okay.
And we've been kind of slowly like
Have you been
building more shelves.
Have you been getting customers coming in?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been cool. Like a lot of like local kids like that I would see around like maybe at a spot or something. Now they're coming in and watching videos, and we're like getting to know them. And
That's
yeah,
cool.
dude, it's been super cool. It's just like kind of a space for the community to come, like not just the shop, but like we got a huge TV, like come and watch videos. We got all these old mags, like come read mags.
I don't think I've seen a skate shop in Pomona either. Besides,
there hasn't been one.
Platform
Was the last
back
one.
in the day.
Yeah. So I know Landon was like one of the dudes from Platform. I know him and his brother, and yeah, it's been a long time. Like the whole time I've lived there, there hasn't been a skate shop, and
So it was
for
needed.
me, it felt like it was like a need, you know.
Right.
And so my other job is working for the city of Pomona. I run a bunch of skateboard programs. It's like camps, classes, after school teen club. We do field trips, we do events, and so kind of like doing both those jobs. It's like when we do a skate event for the city, Pawnshop sponsors it, and so we just kind of like made sense at a certain point. I was like, hey Anthony, like why don't we open a store in Pomona? And then this opportunity to be in this super cool building. It's like used to be the YMCA building. It's been abandoned for 15 years or more. And now they renovated the whole building, and they're renting out some retail spaces and some office spaces.
So was it all one giant building?
It's a huge building.
And now it's like sectioned off?
Well, it's like in the lobby, and they kind of just put up these like big glass like walls or whatever.
Okay.
So there's like a flower shop, there's a barber shop.
So you go
there's
into
gonna be
one
a cafe.
building, and you're in there, and they're in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's like a big common area with like a bunch of couches, and they have like a ping pong table and a foosball table
that
out
sounds
there.
cool.
And then like right on the other side of our store, there's this like, it used to be a basketball gym. It's like, or originally it was a cathedral. It has like the big stained glass windows, but they're turning that into a concert venue. So they're still like kind of working on the building too. And then upstairs used to be like all the offices for YMCA and stuff, and people, there's like some nonprofits up there. There's like a bunch of other businesses opening up there. I think there's like a lawyer up there, like a bunch of different people doing that. So it's kind of cool. They're opening a cafe in there by the end of July. So the whole building, the grand opening is going to be in early July. And we just did our first skate event there last Friday, like the welcome to the team for Frankie Villani. There's a whole flat bar Friday in the parking lot, and we're going to be doing flat bar Fridays over there too. Like not every week, but most weeks.
Is it going to go back and forth, or
no? We're going to do so. I built some more new ramps for the Pomona store, and then we took a few things from the Covina spot. So we'll be doing them some Fridays. We'll be doing them at both. Yeah,
okay.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's been cool and exciting to be doing that, and yeah, like I said, I just felt like it's a hole in Pomona. Like there's no like community space for it. Like we're seeing kids already that are like getting to know each other from hanging out at the shop,
right?
Like, you know, which
and
is
now
cool.
they're becoming
friends, and they might live in one side of the city or the other, but like that was like the goal, you know?
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah, it's a tiny little shop. It's like as big as this room. It's so small, you know. But it's pretty cool.
And shout out to Frankie. Now he's part of Pawnshop. Is it like part of just Pawnshop, or is it like Pawnshop Pomona, or does he?
I mean, it's all like the teams.
It's
all
the
the
whole
same.
thing, right?
It's all the whole thing. But
that's
yeah,
cool.
But yeah, Frankie's a really good friend of mine. I've like known
Frankie
him for
Villani.
Frankie Villani. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I was telling you guys earlier before the show, but I actually, when I was still working for Deluxe, Tommy Guerrero put me on to Frankie. He saw him skate, and he was like, nobody really knew who he was at the time, you know? And he was like, oh man, you got to start hooking this kid up. And then, so I met him and like saw some footage of him, and I was like, wow, he's insane.
How long ago was that?
This was like over 10 years ago, probably.
Yeah, because I remember seeing him. Like I went to
he might have been getting flowed from zero back then.
Lanark Skate Park. It might have been like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe now. But I remember some guy telling me, keep your eye on that kid right there. He's got magic feet.
Yeah,
right?
he's
and
nuts,
I was
dude.
like,
he's so good.
I was like, all right, I got a picture with him and Deshaun Jordan at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was for, I believe it was for Shake Junk. And they had, Jamie Foy was at the park. And I remember getting a board signed by Jamie Foy that day. That was cool.
Yeah, no, but yeah, Frankie's just a rad dude, like on and off the board. He does art.
Yeah.
He's just like a good human, you know, and he just rips at skating. He's like so unique. You know? And
he's quiet, but he talks a lot with his feet, huh?
Yeah, and once you get to know him, he talks a little bit more too. He's just he's a little shy for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I started working for Pawn, and then his girlfriend Elion skates for the shop too, and yeah, so I kind of like brokered that deal in a sense or whatever. I was just like, yo, dude, what's up? Like, I'm over here now. What's up? You should come over here too. And it was cool. It worked out. It's like kind of been in the works for a long time or whatever. So we finally got to walk.
Just doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, I mean, he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
He's got a pro shoe on New Balance. He's got, the primitive thing. Which is like, it's a big shoes to fill. Skating,
yeah, man.
Skate for those dudes. So yeah, he's got a lot going on though.
But he's got a lot of talent.
And Dickies,
man.
I think they're working on a Dickies video. So that's what I've been hearing for a while. So
okay,
that's one to keep your eye out for. That team's stacked.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got a question for like the Pawnshop riders. Like, are the riders gonna be riding for like, let's say, team riders from Covina Pawnshop? Is he gonna be riding for the Pomona one, or it's separate teams?
You know what? We had a little bit of a talk about that, and as of right now, there's no like separate team. It's all just like one. We're all just like a big family.
Pawnshop.
You're just on Pawnshop. Like, you need grip tape and you're in Pomona, come to the Pomona store. We got you. You need grip tape and you're in Covina, go to Covina. You're skating on Whittier, you're probably closer to Covina. But, or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see a purpose of like separating the teams like that. I mean, I think ultimately I'd like to like hook up some skaters from Pomona and like cultivate that in Pomona. Where
maybe there can be like some kind of like a flow deal.
Yeah.
Maybe not like on the shop yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then once they're on. I mean,
that's kind of like how, that's kind of how it goes, because it's like, that's kind of already how it goes. Like, there's a lot of local kids that just are like, those up and coming kids, and we just like hook them up with little discounts and, free grip tape or like, whatever it is, right? Just like, oh, you really need a board, like, here you go, and like, that's one of the things like I love, like, I loved working with Jim at Deluxe because he's like such a giving, caring human being. Mm-hmm. He does like a lot of really good stuff for like his community and other skate communities. And then like working for Anthony is like, the dude just gives a shit about skateboarding. Mm-hmm. Like, he loves skateboarding. He gives so much back to the community. And like, for me to have an outlet to do that via the shop, it's just like, it's ideals and like a mindset that I can like really get behind, he did it for me. Like, he helped me out a lot when I was going through some really hard times. And on top of that, I've just seen it for years from him. Like, all the events they do, like, it's just what separates like stores like that from other stores, like the stores that just really give back to their community. And so for me, it's just like a blessing to like work with someone like that. And, he takes everyone who works for the shop and rides for the shop and all the homies' ideas into consideration, and like really tries to do the best for everyone. And, the Covina skate park opens up next month, and that's a huge win that he started planting the seeds for like over 10 years ago, right? And just he's just good peoples. Like, they're just good peoples in general.
Yeah.
So.
And I like, you want to do what he did for you, and it works too, because someone looked out for you.
Yeah.
You said through some tough times, and now somebody may need that. You know, so you never know who you help in the. You're just there. You're just doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then later on, somebody else will come, maybe be on this show and be like, Nate, man, that guy really showed me the ropes, or, took me under his wing.
Even just with kids and just showing them, like, skating in general, like, it's really, like, it's good for your mental health. It teaches you so many, like, life lessons that you can't learn anywhere else. Like, the persistence of it. Like, nobody's telling you to learn how to kickflip. Like, if you want to learn how to kickflip, you're doing that shit for yourself, dog.
That's true.
And there's not a whole lot of things in life, like, most people don't go to work and just go like, oh, I fucking love this shit. Like, they're like, damn, I gotta file papers again. And then their boss is like, you better file them papers. I need to see them TPS reports, dog.
Yeah,
like,
TPS reports. I know exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, yeah.
What does that lady say?
But yeah, so skateboarding is such a like, so, even just to be able to do the skate program stuff for the city is like, it's like, Pomona's a tough place, there's a lot of like bad shit for kids to get into. Like, there's gangs,
and this
there's
is just
drugs,
a positivity,
there's like
right
violence,
there.
there's a lot of things. And so if there's
Hookers,
5 kids, Holt Boulevard, dude, don't go up there. It's sketchy, dog.
You'll meet the ladies of the night.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, like, if it keeps 1 kid or 5 kids from doing some of that shit, then I feel like that's a success, dude.
I mean, skateboarding.
My kids are growing up there, like, I just want to do what I can to do positive things in the community, whether it's events or like stuff with the shop, stuff with the city, doing the programs, like all of it, like I see it as just being, it's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help each other out. And like, so many people are just out to like get shit for themselves,
Yeah.
There's
you gotta like eat, everyone's gotta eat, but like at a certain point it's like, when are you gonna do something to help? And that's one of the things I love about Pomona is like a lot of the city council people and the mayor and people who work for the city, and there's a lot of cool nonprofits and God's Pantry and Justice for Youth and Project Hope that do a lot of stuff out there, and like they're just good people doing good shit, and they care about the community. It's such a community-based city, and like it's beautiful, dude. It's just a beautiful thing. And that's what it should be.
That's rad that you're in touch with all that too. That that's all available.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they just did a what's called a community pull-up like last week at the building where the new shop's at, out on the front lawn, and it was like Project Hope does it.
Do they reach out to you guys to do something like that? Or?
Oh no, they did it through like the owners of the building. They do them all over the city. Like I think they do it like once a month. But yeah, they have like food distribution, like free healthcare signups, like you get a cell phone, like just all these different things, like dental, like mental health services, like all the information you need, like all these different, they have vaccines happening and like a little clinic set up, and it's all free.
Right.
And they have free food like that you can take home, and free food you can eat there, free haircuts for kids and adults. Like it's just like this whole big event, like that's all just free stuff for a community that needs it.
Right.
Right. And like that's what I mean. So it's like cool stuff like that. Like, we just did a Dia de los Niños, like Day of the Children festival at one of the parks, and it has like, it's at MLK Park. It has a little skate park, right? And they hit us up about doing something with the shop there. So we got with this art gallery that had a bunch of blank decks, and so kids painted their boards, and the shop donated a bunch of trucks and wheels, and we set up boards with kids all day and taught them how to set up their boards. They painted their own graphic, and then they got to come get
That's
and
cool.
It's like all these kids are so hyped on skating, but they maybe would never get $100+ skateboard,
Exactly.
Like, so it was sick, dude. Like, and that's, it's like, maybe it's not selfish, but like, that's like makes me feel good.
Right.
I feel stoked when I see that. And like, then 5 minutes later, I just helped this little girl set up her board, and she's like pushing around, and she's never touched a skateboard before. And I'm like, dude, that's like a win, right?
Yeah.
Like, hopefully she sticks with it.
That's what I always think. Like, I always hear those stories where people are like, dude, I saw some guy ollie and changed my life. That's why every time I see a little kid, I'm like, let me bust an ollie real quick. Maybe I'll change this kid's life. And then most of them are just, they ignore it. But you never know. I might get that one.
Yeah. Dude, there's kids that like see me skate when I was like younger, like 15. They were probably like 8, and now like that I'm older. And they're older now. They see me at the skate park. They're like, dude, I remember you. Like, you're that dude that taught me how to do this trick and inspired me to skate. And such a good feeling, knowing that you showed a kid something and he remembers that.
Yeah. And then he can see you
that
ripping
stuff's
apart too.
Yeah, that stuff's huge. Like I said, it goes a long way. Like for me, skateboarding, I've had my ups and downs in my personal life and all these different things. And skateboarding's always kept me on like a level.
I was gonna say that earlier.
Yeah, like. It's kept me on this level, and it, like always having something positive in my life that I can turn back to. And I never stop skating
with the positive people as well. That are part of it.
There's so many like positive people, and so many people like go through stuff in their life, and then like they have that to come back to, or it never left, but it helps them get through it, and like And I feel like if I didn't ever like find skateboarding, like who knows what I would.
And I think like when we were growing up, like most of the kids that were skateboarders had like trouble homes. Most of them, most of us were in the streets, because that's what we did. We didn't maybe we didn't have like the best house life, or maybe it was good, but we still wanted to be out there and hang out. Yeah. And like those life lessons right there, just and the homies that are going through it, like. You find similar people, and the community is just rad. How people just, we all can relate to the same things,
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely true for a lot of people. The home life growing up isn't always easy, and everybody goes through different stuff, Mm-hmm. But it's like I said, for me, and I think a lot of people, it just keeps you like, at least on some sort of level of like a functioning human being, and and I remember, so if I can, like I said, if I could help give that back to whoever,
and did you ever get it like for me when I started turning 20, of course I wasn't doing the best things. I wasn't like I didn't have a job or anything, but like people were like, when are you gonna stop playing with that thing, or when are you gonna grow up? Like maybe because you were already traveling and doing stuff with it, but for me, like I was like, they were like, man, how long do you think you can do that for? Like I would get that. And nowadays, it's so accepted that it's just like,
Yeah, I have a funny story about that. So my grandpa, he passed away last year. Actually, miss him a lot. But I remember when I was a kid growing up, I was like young still. You know, he's like, when are you gonna give that up? You gotta go to school. You gotta go do this. You gotta do that. You know, like that's never gonna get you anywhere.
That's so
and
funny.
I remember like about a year into working for Deluxe, and I was like actually like making decent money, and you know like whatever, traveling a bunch. He was like, I want to say I'm sorry, I was wrong. You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like that felt good, you know,
That's
because
crazy.
I hated school, like growing
Right.
up, you know, like a lot of people do, right?
And
but
then
I didn't even hardly.
And
go. I
luckily you
barely
had the
graduated.
passion to do something.
Yeah.
And
It was
loved it
skateboarding.
enough
That's what I mean. If I
to
didn't
make
have
a
skateboarding,
living on it. Yeah.
I don't know what I would have ended up doing because I didn't like going to school. And I actually now, like, I started going, this was like some years back, but I did like 70% of going to auto tech school. And like, it wasn't like, I just wanted to learn about working on cars. I wasn't trying to be a mechanic, you know, it wasn't like a career switch thing, but it was like,
you want to change
I
your
wanted,
own brakes,
and I actually
change your own
loved
oil.
going to school.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, whoa, this is so crazy.
It's
like,
different because you're learning a skill.
A skill that I, you know,
Yeah.
but like, but yeah, like, I don't know. I just never went to school. I never wanted to do anything but
here.
skateboarding related stuff, and I, you know, I just worked really hard and was passionate about it, and it worked out. But like, even, you know, like I said, dude, it's a trip. It's a trip.
I mean, shout out to Pawnshop and everything you guys do for the community, man. I mean, you even brought us some shirts today. Shout out to that. I want to show
I got
that.
the new Pomona tees.
Man, this is gonna match my. Yeah.
Got some
You want
shirts.
to change your camera? There you go. See?
Just a
Shout
can.
out, Pawnshop. Thank
Yeah,
you, thank you.
Bring you guys some fresh gear.
Yeah, we got some fresh gear to rock and stuff. So we appreciate that. Thank you to the shop if they came from, you know. We really appreciate it. We love gifts over here. So, yeah, man. Any events coming up in the future?
Yeah, we have like a jam-packed weekend next weekend.
This is gonna air on the 23rd.
On the 23rd.
Yeah,
My
so
calendar real quick.
yeah.
This is like so not good to be looking at my phone while we're on this show.
Well, you know,
do it real quick.
We got someone calling.
Okay,
someone
no.
on the phone.
So this, yeah, it's gonna be too late.
it's gonna be too late. It's gonna.
But
already
actually, I will say this: if it airs on the 23rd, Friday the 24th, we'll be back in Pomona doing Flat Bar Friday.
Flat Bar Friday. Yeah.
So, and we're gonna, you know, we're working on maybe having a couple bands play outside while we're doing it.
Mhm.
And then we'll probably get some pizzas and stuff like that too. So
Yeah, I love that.
I'm trying to think of what else we have. Nothing else, but we have a couple events coming up next weekend. We have actually like a crazy weekend, but that'll be after this is out. So
Wow. Well, I hope we all enjoyed it.
yeah.
I had a great time that day.
Yeah.
If you guys make it out, you will for sure. So
Yeah.
Right in the future.
All right. Let's see here. I know. Well, I did touch on it a little bit. Well, we spoke about it outside, I think. What's your favorite Van shoe? Because I was gonna say I usually ask what's your favorite skate shoe, but I seen a photo that you posted on Instagram. It was nothing but like Crocs and Vans.
Yeah, that's what me and Mike. Yeah, so thanks for shouting out the Crocs. No, I'm trying to get sponsored by them. Dude, those things are too expensive. But
Oh,
yeah,
really?
My
Okay.
kids are wearing the knockoff ones from Walmart right now because it's like still like.
I saw
$40
some
for a
last
pair.
night. I was actually shopping at Walmart. I was
No,
like,
I'll tell you what, those things will change your life, dude. And I told myself for years, I was like, I never. And then for Christmas this last year, I got a pair for Christmas.
but somebody got them for you.
Yeah, someone got them for me.
Okay.
But now I'll buy them, dude. That's the only pair I own, but I will buy them.
Comfy.
Yeah, they're super comfortable, dude. And,
All right.
And my kids have been wearing them for like years, you know.
Yeah.
And they love them, and they're always like, "How come you don't get some?" But like now, like on days like I gotta go drop my kids off at school, and I don't have to go to work
just
right
pop
after.
those. Yeah.
I'm like sweats, like boom, got the Crocs on, and I'm just like, I might stop and grab a coffee, you know, real quick or something when I'm back home, you know. But like
You're in
or
line.
even the
You're
grocery
in line.
store trip.
Everybody's got Crocs. You're like, oh damn.
Yeah. But Vans shoes, I mean, I'm always torn between old schools and the authentics, but I like the skate ones.
Yeah.
The like
With the extra
when I was
padding.
younger, I used to love the regular ones without the padding, even after the ones with the padding came in. But I'm like, I need the little extra cushion now. My feet get sore, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Vans are kind of thin, you know.
Oh, they are.
You know, so especially the ones like the old Spicoli ones, you know, the slip-ons. Like, whoo.
Yeah, I try to. I try to wear like other shoes sometimes,
Uh-huh.
but I can't.
It's not your
do it.
style.
It's not like even the style. It's like how they feel, because I never know when I'm gonna go skate, right? I never know when I'm gonna have like, 30 minutes in the day, or all of a sudden I could like
you got your
run a
chillers
P-side
on
or
and you're
something,
like,
and I'm like, I'm wearing running shoes right now. I don't even have my board, like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I try to like be ready for it, but yeah, it is a little bit of the look too.
Yeah. I like the half cabs myself.
Yeah, those are, I haven't. We got some in the Pomona store, and I was like looking at them. I haven't tried any of those out in so long, probably like over 10 years.
I actually bought those my half cabs from West Covina Pawnshop.
Okay, so.
Because actually I won a gift card from the nightclub.
Oh, no
Because
way.
the shop had given gift cards out to the nightclub, and this is back when they had the fire.
The
Yeah.
Covina Pawnshop?
Yeah.
Covina?
And so the Covina Pawnshop, and they had like a little fire. So when I went there, like they were kind of cleaning up,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh man, and I was like, I'll come back. And I waited like a few months, and I came back, and then you guys had the vans there.
Yeah, that whole fire situation was crazy.
That was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It just kind of like a rag, right? Just kind of burned
Yeah,
in the trash.
it was, they were like, I guess they were like staining some of the wood fixtures or
Yeah,
whatever.
that lacquer.
And that stuff will like spontaneously combust. Yeah, and so
Man.
it could just be like maybe like a spark from like the security camera or something like that. I don't even know, like any sort of electrical or even like static electricity.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it could
guess
just
they just left like a pile of all these rags. With
yeah, it
stain
just
on
started
the floor, and
smoldering,
just
right?
started- yeah. So it did
I saw the
pretty good
video.
damage.
I saw
Yeah,
the video.
it did some damage for sure to the shop, but luckily the kind of the community came together. Like a bunch of people that Anthony knows, and a bunch of skaters that are like carpenters and different people that are kind of involved in the shop came together and helped them like rebuild. And
That's cool.
That's they
what
were
it's
able to
about.
get back on their feet. I remember that happening. It was before I worked there, but I was like pretty blown away. Whoa, dude! But they came back pretty quick too from it. So
yeah. I like that store, man. It's a good spot too.
Yeah, I like the Covina one. Sick.
Yeah.
It's kind of I joke about it too. The Pomona store, like we have like a back door that goes upstairs to like a storage closet for all the shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and then Covina, you go down to the basement, so it's like the opposite.
Right. Yeah. What a trip, huh?
Yeah, and we have like the Pomona store too. It has like all because the Covina store is in an old building.
Yeah.
It's like from the early
like all
1900s,
brick and stuff,
all the
right?
old brick, and
Yeah.
the Pomona shop is the same thing. It's like all these old brick walls, so it kind of like
It matches
the vibe.
That's so
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
How that works out.
Yeah, it's just the way it happened. But
That's
yeah.
so crazy. It's amazing how things work out like that sometimes. Those little
Yeah.
things that you catch and you're like, wow, look at this.
Dude, the Pomona store
It feels like at home already.
Original tile floor from the 1900s, like early 1900s.
Wow.
It's like these little those
Yeah.
little whatever
The hexagon
tiles.
Yeah.
And there's like little designs in it and stuff, dude.
That's
It's
pretty
such a
cool.
trip. Like the whole lobby, all that stuff has it. It's
That's rad.
super cool.
I like
building's
that
rad.
old school feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
All
don't make
right.
things like they used to.
All right. What other hobbies do you have off the board?
Most of my hobbies are pretty skateboard related, like building spots. I do like carpentry. Like I can build like countertops and like cabinets and like some like basic furniture stuff. I actually need to clean up my garage and get like my wood shop back up and running, because I
Yeah.
kind of have some ideas for some cool stuff that's not skate related to build.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I just spend time with my kids when I'm
Spend
not
time with the
skating,
family.
and like they skate a little bit, so we'll go to the skate park sometimes, but sometimes they want to go to the trampoline park, and like would you go there, But yeah, I do a lot of like stuff with the family.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I don't have other than skating, I don't have a whole ton of hobbies, but I do like really enjoy building stuff, whether it's for skating or not, and wood or concrete or whatever. I want to learn how to weld.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
cool.
like on the like to-do list.
That's something I want to learn too.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
see, for me, anytime I learn something new, I go all out, man. I'll have to get the best welder, the best mask. I'll have to, you know what I mean? Like, I got so close, even when I started bowling, I got close to buying my own shoes and ball.
Yeah.
And the place
Bowling's
shut down.
fun.
Yeah, bowling's really fun. But
Yeah.
the place shut down. So like I was like, oh man. So I stopped bowling. But man, I got to the point where my best score was like 222.
That's good.
I was getting turkeys that day, like woo.
Yeah, that's good.
But that was my best score ever. But Yeah, but like I said, like welding, I would love to learn to weld because I mean, DIY, right? We
I
always
guess,
want to build our stuff or
no,
fix
for
something.
Sure. Yeah, you made me think. Like I guess like I love playing pool, but I don't play that much anymore because like the only place you can go play pool is at bars, and not really go to bars.
Yeah,
you know?
that does kind of suck.
Yeah.
There's a pool hall right here in Walnut.
Oh, really?
Off the 60 on Lemon.
Okay.
If you go right there's a pool hall, no alcohol, no nothing. You can just go in there and they have snacks.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I think it's like $14 for an hour.
That's not
That's
bad.
cool.
Yeah. I have to gather up a couple buddies and go over there one of these days. But yeah, I love playing pool. But yeah, I don't know. All my hobbies are like skateboard related. I'm like a total skate nerd. Like collect boards, like build stuff, like whatever, you know. And then other than that, I just hang out with my kids.
That's the best. That's the best. Spend
I
some
mean,
time
that's
with the
the
family.
best time. At this point, sometimes it's like better than skating. You know?
Yeah,
It's kind
that's
of a
cool.
trip.
How old are your kids?
I have twins that are 5, and
Twins?
my daughter's 7. Yeah, I have twin boys.
Oh
They're a
wow,
handful.
they're 5.
Yeah, they're 5.
Wow.
2 boys, double boy energy, and they love each other to death, but they butt heads a lot.
Yeah.
And dude, they're
Identical.
they're
or?
identical.
Okay.
Yeah. They're gnarly, but like in a good way, dude. They're like the most. They're the best.
That's so crazy.
I just
to
like my
see.
mom. My mom tells me that because I was like kind of a nightmare kid, like I was super high energy,
So
and
now
just
you
all
know.
over the place. She's like, yeah, you're getting it times 2. I'm like, yeah, I guess so, right?
treat
But
your
no,
mom?
but they're like, dude, they're like such kind, loving. They just fight with each other a lot.
Yeah.
And then like the older sister like sometimes keeps them in line, but sometimes she's kind of like poking the bear a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she gets all upset because they like get on
They
her.
tag game.
Yeah.
Tag team.
They
Yeah.
tag- it's like, you know, it can be a handful, but dude, they're just fun, man. Like they're super fun, and they're like I said, they're super good kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're loving, they're caring. You know what I mean? They like to have a good time. They're just normal kids, you know.
That's
like
cool.
yeah.
How's
And they
their-
skate a little bit, and they do other stuff. My daughter does basketball. You know, the boys are wanting to get into like other sports and stuff. They have their scooters too. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they
gonna
do
start
what they want to do. They
yeah.
swim. They, you know what I mean. They
can
just
swim.
like to do like I said, their favorite thing right now lately has been the indoor trampoline park. There's one in Pomona, and
On Gary?
yeah, it's like right next to the Home Depot.
Yeah.
So I can go like pick up like a pallet of concrete and take my kids to the trampoline park, let them get some energy out, and then we like go. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Get 'em all.
It's all like it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Get them all tuckered out, tired. You had something, Lisa?
Oh no.
Okay. All right. That's cool, man. Peralta, do you have any questions?
Oh,
I'm gonna go to you first because you keep saying he's stealing all your questions, man. So let's see what you got.
Honestly, you got me off guard. So I wasn't ready.
I got questions, man.
Listo, you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
It's gonna be all of Peralta's questions.
It's gonna be Peralta's questions.
No, I didn't even think.
Shoot 'em.
I got a question, bro. For as a team manager, like, how do you approach a team rider that's struggling with alcohol and drugs?
Ooh.
That's a really good question. And it happens, and it did happen
I
a lot.
bet.
And I mean, it's just a conversation, and I think those conversations are like they're personal, right? Like you're not doing it in front of everybody. So
Of course.
you know, sometimes it's during a trip or like before or after a trip, you know. But I mean, usually like with that stuff, you kind of just have to figure out what's like going on with them. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily directly attacking. Like,
Yeah.
I would
you
never
can't just
say like, "Hey, bro, you're an alcoholic. Like, you need to like stop." You're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, like, I noticed you've been like drinking and partying on trips, or like
what's
around
going
a lot.
on?
Like, what's going on with you, dude? Like, everything okay? You know, like, it's when you are like sort of this like authority figure, or, like their boss or whatever, but you're also like your family and friends, you know. So you're traveling with these people a lot. So I mean, you kind of approach it from a standpoint of a friend, you know.
Yeah.
And my thing was always trying to help people out. Like sometimes it would be like, yo, I'm just really struggling with money. Like such and such sponsor had to cut my pay a little bit, and now I can barely pay my rent. And I'd be like, well, if I could fake a photo incentive for you for the next 3 months at $350 a month and send you 4 extra boards, would that help you? And like stuff like that would like change their whole thing, and they'd be like, oh my god, like all that stress is gone, and then they'd be like chilling, they'd start skating again, and they're on fire because it's just that little thing. Like skaters are so mental, you know, it's all in your mind, right? Like one day you're like able to grind the flat bar every single try, and then the next day you got some stuff on your brain and you're like, it's the hardest thing ever, right? You know, like we all know, we've all been through it. So like times that towards like killing yourself down a 20-stair handrail, like those dudes are seriously mental. Like there's something wrong with them. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Like,
no, I agree.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
but like literally, like sometimes that's all it takes.
I've heard of a
And,
skater going through some stuff where they were like, you know, like I didn't care anymore, so I just hucked.
Yeah,
Like they were like, I don't care if I get hurt. Like it was like
it goes both ways.
Yeah, like it was different. Like, you know, because they were like, I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
I want it, kind of. But then they were so good that they were like, I
Yeah.
made it. I did it.
But then for other people, like things would keep going on, and like I had to like, you know, kick people off the team or like stop bringing them on trips for a while. It's like
And have to
I was, like,
explain
why and like
This is why you didn't make it to this trip. And,
yeah, like because like hey, the last 4 trips, and you know we talked about it and we tried to figure out those things for you to like make things better, you know, whatever it was. So yeah, I think it's kind of like a case-to-case basis thing, and like also just knowing who the skater is and like how they are. Like again, we're all individual people, so
you got to know how
you know,
to
some
approach
people like you have to approach different situations with different people in different ways, you know, just like your family or friends or like your kids or like whatever, you know, like even like I was just saying, like being a parent, like
even with
all 3 of my kids,
even if someone has
completely
like a different
approach.
kind of, someone could take it all the wrong way, you know, like someone could
Yeah.
be mad,
that happens.
someone could
That
get
happens.
hurt,
That happens.
you know,
You
yeah.
know, like people get upset. Like, what do you mean? Or like when I said you know, you say like, hey, I noticed you've been drinking and
Yeah.
partying a lot, and they're like, what are you trying to say? I'm an alcoholic? Like, I'm not no alcoholic. And they're just all upset. And you're
Good
like, dude, I like.
We'll talk. We'll talk tomorrow.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
it's kind of hard to talk to them too because their selfishness and they don't really want to hear it, and
Yeah.
they're selfish, they don't want to hear it, and you know
Yeah.
they don't want to hear that they're doing
Do
bad.
you ever deal with them trying to come at you like, well, look at you, or because like, you know, you're partying with them too and all that?
No, I never really like. I kind of wish they had shit. Like looking back, like you know, whatever, because I went through all my own struggles with that stuff, right? And,
Yeah.
Well,
you
that's
know,
why
like,
you know how
at
to
the same
approach it as
time,
well.
I had to keep it together to a point of like
You're
being able to keep
responsible.
the ship running, you know.
Mhm.
And so, but like probably could have done a better job in certain situations of keeping it together. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, that's
but
all.
no, I never was like approached by anyone where they were like, hey, like maybe a couple times where they're like,
I learned
hey
it
bro,
from
like you
watching
probably shouldn't drive tonight. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting an Uber home. Like I'll Uber back and get the van tonight, like
Yeah.
tomorrow morning or something, you know, like stuff like that would happen. But
Okay.
it was kind of like one of those, like, you know, everyone's just looking out for each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So-
when someone brings something up like that like I'm like, well, this obviously happened for a reason.
yeah.
You know,
for
so
sure.
I better listen to this little voice right here that's telling me, you know. So yeah, man.
But we would try to keep the young kids like away from it as much as possible too.
I think
You know,
it's.
like,
I
the
think
younger
nowadays.
kids, like,
I
coming
think
out.
it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not young anymore, but like, I feel like nowadays these kids didn't grow. They're not growing up as quick as we did in the '90s. Like,
Yeah.
I was out in the street. Now these kids are still like they're playing their video games. They're on their phones all day. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like they're kind of like they're getting something different we don't know yet. You know, because of the phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, everything's like at their fingertips right away, right?
Right.
Like, it's all like instant gratification, you know? Like I was saying earlier, it's like finding out about like skateboarding was like so much harder, right?
Mhm.
You know? Like, you know, I knew what skateboarding was and I saw some tricks and stuff, and then like I went like months without actually seeing like skateboard media of any kind,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't understand like trick names and you know what a kickflip backtail shove was or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like now kids are just like
there it is.
thrashermagazine.com, like I can
Yeah.
watch every video part ever made, you know, and they don't even know like the
The
history
history,
or the
the
old,
history,
you know.
yeah.
Oh, old
That's
school.
one thing we do at like my skate classes, like when we take breaks, like we go inside the youth centers and have like a snack break or something.
Yeah.
And I put on like old skate videos. And they're
Yeah,
like,
that's
who's this
cool.
guy? And I'm like, oh, this is so, like, you know.
And you're like,
This
look
is
at
Lance
the
Brown,
tricks
this is
that
this
he's
dude.
doing then, you know, like
Yeah.
they're still relevant to the date.
Yeah.
Till now, you
So,
know.
try to teach them the history a little bit because I feel like there's like a
It's
big
important.
gap, and it's important for sure, you know. And I think too, like, I'm pretty passionate about skateboarding and like how I came up in it and all the things that I learned, and so I want to like pass that history on because I don't want it to like just die. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And I think that is something that should be preserved because I used to go on that website, skate video site,
Yeah.
and I remember they used to have videos from like the 70s, and I would watch them, I'd be like, what the hell? Or I'd watch even videos from the 80s. I was like, I just seen some dude do that trick like in like the early 2000s, and I thought it was a new trick.
Yeah.
But it's just this dude just did it on something smaller, and he took it to something bigger.
Yeah. I mean, I think as far as tricks, I don't know what else they could do anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they're still coming out with stuff that still blows my mind, man. They're still learning stuff.
Yeah, I seen some of those. I forget all their names or whatever, but like those like YouTube like star skaters. They're like not really sponsored, but like some of those dudes are just, like, I mean, they're not that fun to watch like style wise, but dang, they're doing some insane stuff. Like, seen some dude do like a 720 flip down like a 10 stair. One of those YouTube kids, like it's like a double 360 flip, but it only flipped once. But it like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like,
how do you
what
get
is this?
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like it did not look great, but whoever you are, sorry, it didn't look good. Wow.
It's like it didn't look good. It was a gnarly trick though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
gnarly.
respect, dude. There ain't nothing I could do. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, in a few years, you never know. They might clean it up because they're just breaking that barrier, filling it out, and then a few years from now, they're gonna be like, "Well, watch me float it down to 20."
Yeah, I mean, but that stuff is like still amazing because it's still innovating.
Yeah,
innovating skating, you know.
Right.
So
yeah, shout out, dude. Anything else, Lee? Still?
Yeah, I got another question. For skaters that like are interested in Pawnshop, like, are you guys asking for sponsor me videos, or what do you guys ask for them?
I mean, that's another. It's a good. It's a super good question.
Sounds like he wants to know where he can send his footy.
Yeah. Just
That's
text me,
why I
dog. Just
nudged
kidding. No, I mean, so the pawn thing again. It's like with like brands, you know, it's like a brand, and they're looking for new skaters, and you kind of like have these like almost like trial periods as a flow dude, or even, you know, before you get put on as an AM, and it. As much as you could be the best skater, and then you come on a trip or two, and then nobody like vibes with you, then that's it.
I say that
and
all
that's
the time.
like, you know, whatever, that is what it is. You tried, maybe they'll keep giving you boards or whatever it is, but if you like don't get with that crew, then it just doesn't work because you're going to be traveling all over the place. You have to be able to get in the van and deal with the people you're going to deal with, right? And Pawn is like similar in the way of it's such a family thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those kids grew up together. We don't have like a lot of like even the stuff like with like Frankie's from Santa Ana, but like he's just friends with all of us and he skates around us all the time, you know, and out in our zone, and so he comes in the shop and kicks it, and he gets along with
kind of the best way like to start, like maybe you start skating with the homies,
the like, you know, like the Covina Park's about to open up, so like that would be a good spot where you're going to be able to see a lot of those dudes, you know, skating and hanging out at the shop, and just like, because it's like not just like the team, the employees, like the owner, like their families, like, you know what I mean, like like Anthony's, you know, Donovan's dad, and then Donovan just had a kid, and like his girl and their family, and like, you know, their whole family, and this dude Jake who shoots photos for the shop, and like the people who work there, and like all our kids, like we have events, like everybody's there and we're all together, you know, and like, yeah, there's like the Covina locals that come out to like skate or whatever, but like we all go do stuff like together, just like outside. Like Wolf, who manages the shop, has a daughter that's like the same age as my kids, you know, right? And like all that, like, so it's like, it is just like a big family thing, you know? So there's no like, I don't think we're like accepting sponsor me tapes, but like the best way is just like get in the mix and get in where you fit in. You know what I mean? Like,
you know,
I think that's what makes it so sick too, is because it's like some of the dudes on the team, like there's probably dudes that are better skaters out there, but you're like part of our family. You know what I mean? You know, we're not out just to like sponsor the best skater and make the best name for ourselves in that way. It's like we're about the family vibes, you know?
That's true.
So,
yeah,
I kind of like back then on utility, they were kind of like that. Like they didn't really put anybody on the team besides like people they knew or family, like stuff like that. You know, close skaters that skated with them.
I think that's important for shops though, like on that level, because like I was saying, like the events and the family vibes, like, you know, versus like what are you gonna do with the team of the 10 best skaters that all hate each other? Like you can't even have them at like a demo at the skate park like together because they're like beefing with each other, you know what I mean, or whatever,
or trying
like,
to one up each
other, like,
and they're not landing anything because they're just, you know, trying the hardest thing ever. You're like,
but honestly, like I think I'm putting more thought into like the team thing then first of all, that I would even have any say in like putting someone on the team really or not, and then second of all, then like probably anyone at the shop ever had. They just like do it the way they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but like that's the way I see it. Is it's all just like a big family thing. You know?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That kind of reminds me of the Lakers. You know, like the Lakers, they're trying to get every best player on the team, and everybody wants to be MVP. So like, everybody's trying to score or do good. So it kind of reminded me.
Yeah. They're just like they end up blocking each other out.
They get that conflict of interest of I want to be top dog, or they all want to be top dog. So they're you know, he said they're fighting each other.
They're not winning a championship.
They're all shooting the ball.
I feel like half the dudes that are like on the shop team or like affiliated with the shop that all like rip or whatever, they like want to be like as low key as possible. They're like undercover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not like real out there like, oh, check out my clip, like look at this.
Yeah, like
you know
like Joe Campos really underground, and John.
Dude, yeah. Joe's so
good.
He's got such good style. He's been good since he was a little kid too. It's crazy.
Right.
Do any of the shop riders go on to like be pro?
Well, I mean, Donovan, obviously, John, obviously, but Joe is, I mean, I don't know if he's not pro yet, but he's
there's
he's
opportunity
for him there. I mean, obviously, like Frankie and like Vincent Alvarez.
How do they get?
But
like,
those
do they get known
pro.
through like Instagram, or do the shops like put in a word, like, because like they're probably sending product, right? And you're like, well, this is going to this kid, maybe, I don't know, and he's riding your stuff, or
I mean, I think shops in general definitely help like dudes get on brands. Like that was like somewhere when I was a team manager, that was somewhere where we would pull kids from and give them that, you know, trial period or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, other team riders too, like if, you know, a shot is like, hey, we want to put this kid on the team, you're like, all right, let's try him out. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. So, but like, I think the shops definitely, they're the ground floor for like a brand, you know? So if a shop's like, this is the best kid in Nashville, Tennessee, like wherever, you know, you're going to at least like look,
right,
you know, and like talk to the kid,
and
hook, you know, and maybe it is just something where it's like, hey, you know, like right now we're like jammed up, but let's make sure he gets product through the reps when you do orders or whatever, and then maybe it becomes something and maybe it doesn't, you know. But shops in general, whether it's Pawn or any shop, are like a big outlet for brands to like find the new talent, you know. I think, in my opinion, at least for the way that I ran things, like over seeing kids skate at contests or anything else, like the shops and the team themselves are like the biggest outlet for like new team riders for sure.
All right. Anything else?
One more question. Last question. Who would you like to see next on the show?
Ooh, who would I like to see? I got two. Vince from Pawnshop.
Vince Alvarez?
Oh, no, not Vince. Vince Alvarez.
Oh, Vince Munoz.
Yeah, Vince. And Jeffrey Lopez.
Jeffrey Lopez.
Yeah, he'd be a good one for you. He's got some like actual like local skate history from like this zone because he grew up around here. So
sick.
I remember like seeing him back in the day, like in West Covina, like he was one of the OGs, and I was just barely starting to skate. So
yeah,
I see him around. I'll ask him.
He rips, and I told him, I was talking to him on the phone while I was on my way over here today.
Yeah.
And I told him, he was like, "Oh, damn, that's crazy! You're doing a podcast or whatever." He was stoked. But but he like grew up around this area and just Covina, West Covina, Whittier, like all around here.
Yeah,
so he's got some skate history for sure, and he rips at building spots, and he's a really good carpenter and welder. He's just a good human being. So shout out Jeff. Shout out. Love you, dog.
Peralta.
So to anyone out there who's trying to get like say that they live in an area but there's no skate community and they're trying to get that going with their city to try to build something, like what advice would you have for them to like, you know, get the ball rolling?
I mean, I think so every city's like infrastructure is set up a little differently, right? But a lot of times they'll have like planning meetings for like parks or like town hall meeting type things, or even if it's just going to a city council meeting, there's usually like an open agenda to like voice your opinion on some sort of subject or whatever. That's really like, you just got to start like making your voice heard, you know. Right. Like if there's no, you know, and sometimes that can be done through a shop if you have a shop in your area, but like you're saying, if they don't have like a super big local skate community, but I mean, you just got to start making noise. It's like the biggest thing, you know.
Yeah, we have a local shop over here, 88.
Yeah.
They're trying to.
I just met some of those dudes the other
They're
day.
trying to get rid of the helmet rule for the La Habra Park.
Yeah.
And they go to the city and stuff like that. But like a lot of us, like for me, I missed it, man. I was so mad that I wanted to go and see what it was about, but I didn't make it out.
Yeah.
You know, so those are the things that we need to hear and actually focus on if you want to.
No, I think that's the
make the move.
City council and the mayor. I mean, they're elected officials, you know, but they need to start hearing that because there's other people behind them in the city that they need to put pressure on to like make things happen, find the money for things, start actually getting it on the agenda. Like my whole journey with, you know, working for the city of Pomona and doing skateboard programming started because I went to what's called a town hall meeting for the district that I live in, and I got up and I spoke in favor of, and this was just like a general planning meeting, they wanted community input. And I got up and I spoke about skateboarding and how powerful it is and like the lessons that I've learned and how there's so many skaters in Pomona and our skate park sucked. And like it didn't turn into like getting a skate park built yet, but it did turn into like, hey, if we want to really show city council, like you should come do skateboard programming with us for community services so that we can show the need, right? You know, that's like the way that the Pomona city infrastructure works is different than
kind of setting up the flat bar Fridays.
Yeah, setting up flat bar Fridays, and that right there is what got Covina a skate park.
That's
and
so
Anthony cool. And the dudes from the shop and like going to city council and talking with the mayor and all these things and doing events, like you gotta show them like the need for it, and you just gotta, however you're gonna make that noise, like just be as loud as you can. You know, and you know, like I said, I got some cool projects coming up. I think in the next like 2 to 4 years, you're gonna see like, well, I mean, MLK Skate Park's getting a facelift and getting some additions to it. You know,
Professor Smith was talking about some park. I can't remember which one, but he said that they're thinking about expanding another skate park.
Yeah,
make it
bigger. It's all Costa Mesa.
He's asking, maybe it's Costa Mesa.
Yeah,
he's trying to get a pump track in it or something.
Yeah. Because I saw a thing on Instagram yesterday. Costa Mesa is having a meeting. They're gonna do a whole addition / facelift of that park. But yeah, and just in like Pomona, like, and then you know, I think in the next 2 to 4 years, there's probably gonna be like 3 or 4 more like skate parks, like small to large, you know, happen in Pomona, and that's you know, just bringing the events and doing the programming and making the noise and going to city council and going to these town hall meetings and getting involved in the community. And
do the city come out and see how things are running? Like or do they just?
Yeah, I mean, it's all like numbers, you know. Right. So like we have like, it's all sign up through the city, so we have like all the paperwork to deal with or whatever. But it's like, you know, max like 15 kids per session, and then they look at how many kids like actually show up, how many kids are on the wait list, like. You can fill, if kids stop showing up and you call them and they're like, oh, they can't make it on Tuesdays, then you fill a kid from the wait list, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, you just, they definitely look at the numbers, and they do come out and observe like the program, like the higher ups or whatever, but they're all cool, dude. Like,
no, that's good.
They're
that's
not
good
like stressing
for them to
on
actually
like,
come out, I think.
Yeah, no, but that's like one of the things that's cool is like, for instance, like the city manager will came out to our program, and he was like amazed because like all these parents are sitting there. Everyone's having a good time. It's like positive thing for the kids. Like they're engaged for like the whole entire 2 hours that they're there. They're like trying to learn tricks. Like we have all the instructors are out there. Like, you know, we'll do little group things and then we go one-on-one and give kids time to free skate or whatever. But like that dude's like number 2 in the city. So for him to get excited about the skate program that we're doing, then when it's like, hey, we're taking a $250,000-$500,000 skate park to city council and a council approves it, the next person's desk that it goes to is his. You know, so like there's like, but like I said, every city works differently, and like you really just have to like, it starts with just making the noise, whether it's like organizing a skate meetup and doing a skate jam, or pulling up to the town hall meeting that's a community input meeting on general, just what do you want to see in the city and the parks. If it's going to city council over and over and over again and getting all your friends to go with you, and every single one of you guys signs that little yellow piece of paper and you put skate park, and then you go week after week after week. Like it works always, you know. So, and you should be really trying to do all that stuff at once. Like I got lucky to get into an interesting position, or like where I work for the city, and so I'm able to like do the front end stuff with doing events with the shop, and going to those meetings as a community member.
Yeah.
And then also showing up at city council as an employee presenting plans and being able to even get to the point of like working on doing that stuff, right?
That's
amazing.
So,
Yeah.
and it's been a little over a year process to get there, but like, you know,
That's cool.
that's
I mean,
like
that's
it
everything.
all.
though.
It takes all sides of it. Not one of those things happens without the other. you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah.
That's cool, man. Dude, that's so
Good
so
advice.
important to skateboarding as well for us.
That's some
Anything
nice-
else, Peralta?
No, I just really want to get more into that.
All right. I do have one more question. Who do you see coming up right now? Do you see any youngsters out there like you're excited to watch? Anybody blowing your mind?
Well, I think I said it before. Like when I stopped working for Deluxe, like, you know, about a year and a half ago, I kind of took a break from like, I was like working at Pawn and I was like paying attention to like what we were doing. But like recently, and probably the last like 3 months, like I kind of started watching like stuff on Thrasher again or whatever, you know. Other than I watched like my friends' parts and stuff, like people I would know, like if, you know, Donovan put out a part or like Frankie or like somebody, you know,
Of course.
or like certain dudes I was like super stoked on, you know, whatever. But I wasn't watching like every single thing. But and I knew who he was before, but the one kid that's blown my mind and he just got put on Reel is that Toby Ryan kid.
Toby Ryan?
Yeah, if you guys watched, he just had a Welcome to Real Skateboards part. He's nuts.
He's the one that
Fakey flip, right?
Yeah,
Wallenberg?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
I
did
thought you were
see
talking
that
about
part.
the nollie backside.
Yeah, it was Nollie backside flip.
Oh, Nollie
Yeah,
backside
yeah.
flip? Also,
Yeah.
Fakey flip was
But yeah,
someone else.
dude, like, he is nuts. Like, I feel like he's gonna be a Sodi someday or something. Dude. Just the stuff he was doing on the board. But as far as like local kids that are coming up, dude, there's like so many like ripping kids out here, dude. It's hard, and like a lot of them I don't even like know their names. You know? Like there's like kids who just like skate the parks. You know, she was on the show, but that girl Kaylee.
Oh yeah,
she could like hone her skills and be like, you know, like I just saw Toy Machine turn that Georgia Martin girl.
Yeah, I did
who's-
see that too.
who, like I used to give trucks to like back in the, I don't even know if she still gets Thunder stuff, but I used to give her trucks. She's like super rad human. But yeah, like I feel like Kaylee could be like you know, like a pro girl skater. for
That's
sure.
cool.
I think
Shout out.
yeah, and I mean I guess like, but again, like I kind of like put my blinders on to like everything that wasn't involved in like what I was doing because I needed a break from it, you know,
Right.
like for my own mental health. Because for years I watched like every single video that, like,
Right.
even if it was like the shop videos to everything that Thrasher put out. So when I stopped doing that job, I was like, I need to just
Relax
focus
a little
on
bit.
me.
Yeah.
like, you know,
Get the
and make
mental
myself
right.
feel better about my terrible skating too, you know, because like when you just watch all that stuff all the time, you're like, damn, dude, you know. So I just like, I'm not gonna pay attention to anybody, and then I can feel cool again.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you filming yourself doing anything?
I mean, just on Instagram.
Just
and
on
stuff.
Instagram?
Yeah, I don't know. Me and a couple of my buddies have been talking about doing the retirement video part because I haven't filmed a video part since I was like, I don't know, 16 or 17. So it's been like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
it's been like
I'm
20
45,
years.
man, so hold off on a retirement part. You know,
I
I
know,
think
I'm just messing around. But
you
yeah,
know?
it's been 20 years since I filmed the video part, so who knows?
Yeah.
For me, it's like the time, you know? And then when I want to go skate, if I had time to go skate in the streets, it's like in the like morning, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard to get people to film in the morning. But I think one of these days, like maybe I'll start trying to actually work on a project. I actually have a list of spots and tricks that I want to
Okay.
go film.
Well, these guys are working on a project called
Off to
yeah.
lunch?
Well, you're off to lunch, but I don't know if you have a name for it.
We haven't came up with a
You
name for
haven't
the
came up-
video yet, but
Yeah,
we're
they're-
doing like a hot wax kind of thing,
That's
like how
cool.
Crisco did, but it's just homies, and how I put it, we're just blue collar dudes, and blue collar dudes. What do they skate? What do they do on their lunch? They go off to lunch to skate.
Yeah.
Every dude that I know that works in the blue collar industry, it's a skater on their lunchtime, sneaks
Like,
off to
where's
go
the
skate.
skate park?
Yeah, they sneak off to go skate, or
Subway
they,
sandwich in the skate park real quick.
yeah, they're all like, oh, I just saw the sick spot at this warehouse. I'm gonna go wax up the curb or hit some slappies just to get in my sesh during lunch, my sesh for the day.
Yeah. So these guys,
Oh, you know who
they
else
got a
is
project
really
they're
sick?
working on.
That's coming up. I gotta look at there because I want to make sure I get their names right.
So they're working on this for like they gave themselves about 2 years. But how long has it been already? Maybe like 6 months.
Yeah,
Since
about
you-
5-6 months already.
5-6 months.
Nah,
So you
more.
got a year and a half.
Yeah.
Because we started in like November.
Maybe, yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Because
So-
I had some pictures, and the picture said right there, like, November,
Yeah,
December. I was like, damn, that's already been a couple months.
because we went Thanksgiving weekend to the courthouse in LA.
Yeah.
That's when we started.
Oh, here we go.
So
Where's
sometimes if you want to come out, we can get a clip with these guys for the friend section.
Oh, I definitely need to get on that. I'll give you.
I've been wanting.
Here they are.
I don't know if you guys want to go shoot at the Peace Side, man. I want to go check it out.
These two kids, they just filmed a little Nike SB thing for the shop recently, and they're super young. Like, but dude, Kakoa and Roscoe.
Okay.
They're from LA, but I don't know how they like kind of came into like hanging around the shop, and they have like a really supportive dad. He's real cool. Not like the skate dad, like, but he's he takes them out and films and like runs their Instagram for him and stuff, but he's not like I want free stuff for my kid. I mean, he's not sending sponsor me tapes
right
kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But dude, these two are gnarly.
Yeah.
Like they just posted something skating. Like,
have you seen the skate toddler also?
Oh, that kid! I seen him at Chino at Ayala one day.
Yeah.
I don't even hardly ever skate there, but I seen that kid.
Yeah, I met his dad. His dad's pretty rad too. But I mean, he started off really little too. But dude, shout out to them, man.
Yeah, they're cool. Like they just posted some clips, skating around like downtown LA, and like that like round brick bank spot that everybody skates. I think it's in like Japantown or something like that.
The volcano.
The
volcano one. Oh
yeah, that kid did like a ollie-oop disaster and like a backlit reaver on it, and he's like 6 or 7 or something
so
like that.
Cool.
And I'm like, damn, that thing's like not easy to skate.
No.
And he's like kickflipping and pop shoving like 5 stairs and stuff. I'm just like, dude, he's like real young.
Yeah,
he's
showing me up.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So it's all good.
All right. But before we get out of here, like, I mean, these questions, hopefully he gets a good question on the bowl, because I mean, he's in the industry, man. He's part of it.
Oh, man. There's a bowl?
There's a bowl of a crazy question. Let's see what we get.
Am I supposed to get in there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm going to look away, too.
I don't know.
Oh, this is a pretty good one for me.
Okay.
If you could build your own skate park, what iconic street spots are you putting in?
What iconic street spots? Ooh. And you've been to quite a few, I'm sure.
To be totally honest, I would probably put the China Banks in San Francisco. That's a really good one. Trying to think of, I mean, dude, that would be like the ultimate one. And what's funny is I've already built like replicas of that. They're like not like perfect, and I wouldn't make it perfect. I'd make it easier to skate. Skate park. That thing is hard.
Yeah.
But I love those kind of obstacles, like a nice long, just steep enough to blunt slide and tail slide kind of banks with like, but if it had a ledge, like a bench that you could skate under it, like something like that. That would probably be like my number one, because those are some of my favorite things.
China Banks.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what's like the most famous double-sided curb too, like probably the Costco curb.
Ooh.
And just because I love a double-sided curb, like those two things. I don't know.
You know Bail Gun Gary too?
I do.
Yeah. Okay, Tim.
Yeah.
Shout out Tim Olsen.
Yeah, you should have him on the show.
I've asked him. He's like,
he's a busy guy though.
Well,
he's a busy guy.
His thing is like, he's more of behind the camera guy.
He is.
You know,
he's not much of a talker. So
and even when he was on the 9 Club, he put a Santa outfit on, like, so you couldn't even see his face.
Yeah.
You know, but we all know what Tim looks like. Come on.
No, Tim's a cool dude for sure.
It's amazing because I actually met him in person.
Yeah,
heroin boards.
Yeah.
I actually met him in person, but didn't even realize it was him. At the Fullerton Undergrounds, he was skating with Ronnie Krager and James Craig.
Yeah, James. I just ran into James the other day. He came to Frankie's Walk-On thing at the shop. Okay. I haven't seen him in like a couple of years. It was good, but he's a Pomona local now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he moved over. He's like, oh, we got to skate. So I haven't seen him, but yeah.
Yeah, they were just at the Brea 12 because they're getting rid of that.
Yeah, they're getting rid of that. I saw that. Yeah, the heroin crew comes through. Heroin skateboards.
Yes, I know.
Love you, boss. Dangerous though, dangerous. But they come through P-side a lot.
I just saw their egg edit with the piñata.
Yeah,
that thing was badass, dude. Yeah. I was like busting up, and I was like, dude, these dudes are just having a great time.
Dalton did or whatever out of the quarter pipe, like he taps the pole and goes into the parking lot. That is so gnarly. Dude, does not compute. Like somebody told me, because Foss hit me up and was like, hey, we're going through today, and I had my kids and we had like homework, and just when I was like, oh, I can't make it today, it's like a weekday or whatever, you know. It's like, sorry dude, I can't make it, but guys have fun, whatever. And then the next day I went and skated the spot after I got off work, and I forget, one of the dudes from P-Side was like, yeah, he launched out of the thing, he did this, and I was like, what, dude? And then like
see what happens
to
when
Mayo,
you go,
the clip came out, I was like, he did that.
You're
like, but they didn't tell me he tapped his tail.
Yeah.
They just told me he launched the gap.
Okay.
So like you throw that tail tap on the pole in there.
There's a little
Yeah,
surprise.
I was like,
Dalton and Kanan are just on a whole nother level of insanity. Is
Kanan.
dude.
He's like, I think he still gets trucks and wheels from Spitfire and Thunder, but I used to hook him up to like, he's a rad
Dude.
skater, and he's a really cool human being, dude.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen their house?
Yeah, the
I've been to their house.
Coca-Cola house with the
Yeah.
skate park in the backyard.
Dude, so talk about hospitality. Their mom is like the most badass lady. Like we showed up there, it was like we were on, I think we did a trip like after some Tampa contest, whole crew of dudes, and we drove out because they're in why can't I think of what it is? Anyways, it's right across the other side of Florida from Tampa. Orlando. They're like outside of Orlando. So we were staying in Orlando, and I was talking to Kanan, and he's like, you guys should come through the pad, like skate, hang out. You guys could stay the night here instead of go to a hotel or whatever. So we did.
I love skating.
And dude, we had such a good time at their pad. Like they had the whole crazy ramp, like with the Hubba's, like all the, whatever. And then his mom like has that insane Coca-Cola room, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just everything, like all vintage Coca-Cola stuff, like vending machines. There's like gas pumps and like all this old vintage stuff, But she like made us like meals, and like I don't even know where you get this stuff. Like he must have told her, like we were like an hour away or whatever.
Yeah.
He must have told her like, oh, I got like a crew coming through, like literally like a 3-foot long sub sandwich, like all sliced up, like 3 meats, cheeses, like the full 9, like I mean, she had so much stuff on deck, and I was like, there's no way she just like had all this stuff. But she actually though, like she might just like be ready at any moment. Like,
Especially
it's a skate house, right?
Well, especially knowing who her boys are. And those dudes are just
they're
iconic. I think they're iconic, dude.
Yeah, they are. They're little. They have that like, what's it called? The Dern Bros Instagram.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a podcast or not, but like
it's
like
channel.
they do kind of a show or YouTube
Yeah.
channel thing or something.
They hit like
All
famous
that-
spots and kind of give you the history of it.
Yeah,
and all
that's
that.
pretty cool.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
yeah, but beyond that, just the fact that like, dude, like half those spots are so gnarly, and they've done tricks on them is like nuts too. But
Yeah.
I've seen, and the way like dudes like that, the way they skate and like perform, like you pull up to these like massive handrails and things like that, and it's literally no joke. It's like life or death shit. You know what I mean? Like I would die. Like I would like try to ollie to like grind it and just like slip toes.
My
dead.
body
Like-
would shut down before I got there.
Yeah. But they just like handle it so casually. I mean, there are some people who are like a good example is like a dude like JT Alts, right? Like he's an older pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I first, he's a friend of mine. And seeing him skate big stuff, like he does weird stuff, like he like taps on the wall 3 times, and he has like all these guys to like try to make bets with people. Like if I don't try it this try, I owe you $20. Like he's like some people have like this like mental like madness stuff. But like some people just are
kicking
like
rocks off the deck,
or like people have like the little like tick things, but then there's some people like who just are like so casual, they roll up to a couple times and they're just like grinding down this huge rail, and then they're like, all right, I'm gonna nose grind it now, and they just do it in a couple tries. Like they'll grind it down to the bottom like every time.
Yeah.
So
or like 99% of the time they'll grind it all the way down to the bottom like no problem, and then they'll just pull one and it's like cool, it was easy. And you're just like, dude, that was an 18-star handrail that's like chest high. Like, how did you just do that?
Yeah.
You know?
And even if they gap out to where it's level, that's scary.
Yeah.
With a rail.
It's all scary.
It's all scary. It's all bad. I mean, the precision to get them trucks on. Like, I seen, Listo, you skated that rail yesterday at LP. What did you do? A backsmith?
Backsmith?
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, it's humbling to like, to witness that kind of skateboarding, like that caliber, especially like time and time again for like weeks and weeks on end, like
that's
it really,
so cool.
Really is humbling, and it's a cool experience. It's cool to see how different skaters like approach things,
Oh yeah.
Then like, over time you see all different types of tricks and just different, there's, this is the craziest one for like approach. You guys know who Dan Mancina is?
Yeah, the blind
guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like for him, like he's like,
he touches
it, like he walks up, he feels like before his board even gets near it, he's like got his cane out. He's like figuring out, he's finding markers, like how many steps back to get to this trash can. That's like where I'm going to start from. Like there's like 45 minutes of prep before the board even comes out. Wow. And then he'll start trying it. And then it's like, and it's totally a process, but it's like amazing to watch. And it's beautiful. Yeah. Like and we would have him on trips, dude. And he was the best. There was one time, it was the first time we picked him up from the airport.
Okay.
And he gets in the van and we're like, hey Dan, you drink? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, you want a beer? And he's like, yeah, I'll take one. Well, he goes, well, wait a minute, are the windows tinted?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, the windows are tinted. And he goes, are the mountains blue? Yeah, mountains blue. All right. Whatever. But yeah, dude, that dude, like, okay, beyond the skating though with that guy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the videos he was making before he was really heavily involved in skating. Like he would like do darts and like mini golf and like all this crazy, like throw frisbees and like boomerangs. Like he does everything. Like we stayed in an Airbnb in Atlanta one time with him, like a whole bunch of the real dudes. And I'm like, what's that smell? Like we had bought a bunch of groceries and stuff. Yeah. And I wake up in the morning and that fool is cooking like eggs, bacon, like hash browns with like bell peppers, like all this stuff. He's like cutting up onions and stuff. Like the dude is blind, but he can cook like the bomb food. Like dude, crazy. It's just so crazy. All on his own.
I could smell when it's ready.
Like
dude,
I don't need to see it. I know when it's ready. Sick. Like just his whole deal is amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah, him.
I need to hit him.
I can't remember the other blind skater's name, but him and another blind skater.
That dude who's on Element.
They have a podcast as well called Four Bad Eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still going, but man, dude, that's so amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's cool that So.
And for me, like I don't know.
Dan does stuff
I'd probably give up though. I'd probably give up and like, oh my god, poor me and this and that. This guy's over here like, nah, I'm still.
Well, so Dan's story is like a little different because he was a skater and he could see.
Oh.
And then he has a degenerative disease that took his vision away slowly over time.
Because I remember he was saying he could see like a little, like a pinhole
at one time. At this point,
it's pretty much gone now.
Yeah. So then like he went through the whole phase of like, oh, I'm losing my vision, and it was just like everything was bad, and he stopped doing all the fun stuff, and he was learning how to live like a blind person, right?
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden, I guess it was in the middle of winter, and he was just like stuck in his house, and he just like started skating flat ground in his like basement or whatever, his like concrete floor, because he lives out in Detroit area or whatever in Michigan, and so then it was just like it spiraled from there, where he started actually like going to spots and like skating ledges and rails and gaps and all that stuff.
I wish I would have got the board, the one where
the Braille board. Yeah, I think I might have
cool.
one somewhere.
That's so cool.
If I find it, I'll shoot it your way.
Oh,
I have too many boards.
Yeah, I collect boards here and there. Like I'm starting to learn which ones I want to collect more from different artists and stuff like that. Because at first, when I got back into skating, I just started buying whatever I thought I'd like. At first I was buying the board. I want to skate this one, and I'm like, I can't skate. It's too nice. All right, get a blank board, skate that instead. Yeah. But yeah, I used to before. Like I started collecting boards when I was like younger for like just because I like graphics or like whatever. So you probably got some gems.
I have a lot of stuff. Yeah, I have too much stuff. But then when I started working for real, I literally saved like every dude that we turned pro, like their first 2 boards and like whatever stuff like that. Like
I would have.
But that's like, and then we do like a cool collab with a different company, or like we used to do the Actions Realize things, which was like a nonprofit thing where we would like do for different causes like children's hospitals and different things like that. And so I have like it's a lot of just memories, or whatever. It's like crazy though, because I have a lot of boards hanging on my wall, but like I don't know, they just like, what do I do with all these?
We do the show now, so now I get to display them, but before that was the same thing. They were just under my bed. What do I do?
Boxes of them in my garage, and I'm like, what do I do with all these? But so that's why I said. I think I have one of those Braille ones. If I have it, I'll shoot it your way. I'm pretty sure I have one somewhere.
That'd be cool.
I gotta go through that stuff soon because I need to like figure out what to do with it. Trying to. My garage is tiny, so I need to like
make some space.
Make some space.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, dude, this has been awesome, dude. We're already 2.5 hours in.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is a good one, man. So let's see here. Do you have any shout outs before we get out of here?
I'm just gonna leave it pretty simple. My kids, Sharon, my kid's mom, love you guys. Pawnshop crew. Love you guys. So yeah, that's good.
Shout out to all them, man. Shout out to Pawnshop.
And shout out to you guys for having me, dude.
Oh,
this was
for
really
sure.
fun.
Oh, thank you. We
I
appreciate
was like
it,
so
man.
nervous last night. I was like having a hard time going to sleep.
Well,
I was like, shit, what are they gonna ask me? What am I gonna talk about?
Yeah, well, you said you watch a couple of shows,
I
so
watched
it's
some
pretty
shows.
much the same way. So, you know, like if you want, go check out. You know, we also had like Jeremy Ray, Vinny Pani on the show as well.
Oh, I gotta watch those ones. Too,
Yeah,
for sure.
because Vinny and Guy are friends.
Oh, sick.
So
Yeah.
he almost brought, what was it?
Yeah.
Stefan and Guy.
Stefan Janowski and Guy Mariano.
Yeah, he almost
Yeah.
brought him with him when he did the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would have been amazing because they would have been in the chair too.
You would have gotten 3 out. Bang,
In
bang,
one
bang,
day,
bang, bang.
we'd have had to space them out, but yeah. No, but
I
that's
would have been
amazing.
fanboying over Guy the whole time.
Yeah.
I would have just been like,
I still do. It's like,
Yeah.
whenever we meet up and skate or talk on the phone, I'm just like, dude, what?
Yeah.
I tell him too, though. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude,
He's like, nah,
you're the
stop
best.
it.
Yeah, He gets all shy. He's real shy.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show for reals, man. And dude, it's been awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Listo? Shout outs?
Yeah, I got a couple shout outs. Shout out number one, God first. Shout out my family. Happy Mother's Day. My mom, my dad. Shout out Nate coming down, telling your stories. Gave me some useful information or gave us some useful information, And yeah, it was cool, just having you out here and just listening and, hope to be out there in the streets soon with you and,
let's go
make up some
skate.
more.
And thank you for
more.
reminding me. Happy Mother's Day. I already got all my stuff out of the way, but
Yeah.
Shout out to moms.
It'll be a couple weeks, like I said, this drops to the 23rd.
She's gonna listen to it. So.
But shout out and happy Mother's Day to everybody.
we didn't forget.
Yeah.
So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers,
Yeah, we out here. And one more shout out to Where the Locals Sk8, Richard and Peralta holding it down, and myself. And yeah, let's keep on going and growing.
Yes, sir. Peralta.
Like always, I want to shout out my family. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. See if I make you a steak tonight. Might go get her a tomahawk and make her some sliders. Yeah,
so lucky moms right there.
Yeah. Shout out to the Off the Lunch crew. These guys are out there putting in work. I'm hyped on them right now because they're all we're all in our 30s and these dudes are progressing like if they were like young again. Like I'm watching these dudes learn crazy tricks. Shout out to everyone here on the Where the Locals Sk8. I love what we're doing here. I feel like we're finally giving every skater that deserves their voice to be heard, that voice they needed.
Yeah.
And then we're returning to the community and hopefully we can open some doors for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the concept here is so cool. That's why I was super hyped when. I just wanted to just tell you guys after I watched Chris's episode, like, damn, it was cool, and it was instantly like, hey, you want to come on the show? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm down. Like, it's sick. It's such a cool concept.
I wanted to mention one more thing. You're also welcome to come out into the sessions with us whenever you're free and you want to come out and get some clips. You're always welcome.
No, I'd love to. Like I said, I definitely want to get a clip for you guys as video project maybe too.
Who knows? Yeah, we can even roll up the P side if you want to.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, you guys should. It's probably too much stuff, but I was saying you guys could do live on set. Like
we can do something. I think
you could do a special edition P-side crew episode,
like what we did for
like
what we did for the 12 stair. We could do something like that. We could come out.
We did one for Go Skateboarding Day too last year.
Yeah, we're doing a big Go Skateboarding Day event in downtown Pomona again. If you guys want to come out, I'll send you guys the info. We should organize that. That's what we should really do. Is like next time we're gonna do a pour at P-side, we should get you guys to come out and we'll like barbecue and you could do interviews with like the whole crew. Yeah. And I know you guys already did Caleb, but like I feel like there's a lot of other good candidates. Like,
there's been times where like we bring them again, like we have them twice.
Do something quick and then you guys get the digits and you guys.
Yeah, this isn't one and done over here. Like if you ever want to promote anything, you're always welcome to come back. You could even come back. Skate the mini ramp.
Oh, you guys got... Damn, your mini ramp's green too?
Did you not see that the whole time?
No, I didn't notice it the whole time. I'm not even joking.
But you have a green ramp as well,
I
right?
do. I have a green ramp.
I've seen that. Yeah. So,
I was calling it the avocado, but I don't know.
Well, mine I was calling mine because the way I painted it, it looked like a watermelon rind.
Oh, yeah.
Because I used spray cans, so I was just like back and forth, so it kind of looked like watermelon. I'm like, it's all right. But, dude, yeah, anytime you want to come back, let us know. We'll get you back on the show, or if you know anybody who wants to be on the show, let us know.
I'm gonna send you guys some other recs, but I'm gonna make Jeff come for sure.
For sure,
and then Vince too. I'm gonna be like, bro, I'll work for you. I don't care. You need a day off, dog. You need a day off to go do.
And if anybody they don't want to come by themselves, that you can always come along too and sit in and and chill out, you know, and have a good time.
Not bad with that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Okay. Again, thank you for coming down.
Stoked.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Loved all the stories, man. It's so great to hear all that stuff, and I didn't know. I learned a lot too, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every day is a learning experience.
Yeah.
Thank you for the shirt too.
Yeah.
thank
for
you.
the- yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you for the Pawnshop shirt, and I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everybody that likes and subscribes to our channel and hits that all notification bell. Please leave a comment if you let us know how we did today, or if you know somebody that wants to be on the show, hit us up on the Instagram at Where the Locals Sk8. You can also email us at wherethelocalsk8@gmail.com. I'm OG Skate Show. Till next time, peace out.